Let's see what's going on. Waiting for the YouTube here.
Make sure to turn your desktop audio down just a little bit.
It's good. All right, I think we're good. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast and the Lords of Gaming.net, episode number 121. It's another glorious Sunday. We're back at the round table on the Lord's Day. And we've got Gamescom predictions, Halo Infinite departure, multiple Bioware departures, Xbox Game Studios Multiplat, and Play NYC recap to discuss. So we gonna get right into it. So let's introduce we ain't got four. The king is down, man. Please, man, reach out to the king, man. He is not doing well. He has been falling. He's a little sick right now, so please reach out to him. Wishes to our brother, the premium experience. He shall be back in the realm shortly, but we're going to try to hold it down in his absence. But we still have the co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, Lord of Reviews, and the How of the Young Wolf, my man, Lord Addict. How you doing, sir?
Oh, so I finally got an extension on my name? It's been a minute.
You blowing up right now, so you hot.
I saw that with that mic, man. That mic came on like boom.
You hot right now, man. I saw that Ancestors Legacy. I was like, ooh, what boy out here reviewing? What's going on, man?
Pretty good. Still a little tired. I don't know how I'm going to handle this 11 a.m. stuff we about to do here soon. I really don't.
Football season cometh.
I don't know. I might have to be sick for like 2 months in straight.
Oh my god, September 8th, brother. What you been playing, man?
What? Sorry.
I said September 8th. What you been playing, man?
I've been playing. Man, to be honest with you, I've been playing Destiny and like Mario Odyssey, and then I dropped Mario Odyssey like the same day I started playing it. I just can't get into that game. I really don't feel Mario Odyssey. Like I find it boring. Every time I start to play, like I don't know why. I just
can't get
so were you not a fan? Were you not a fan of 64 and like Sunshine?
I like those games, but there's just something wrong about this game.
Okay, I mean, it's just not grabbing you, man. Oh my gosh, shout Attic, you want to handle that?
Shout out to the $5 super chats. I'm gonna start saying it like super chats. Let's take this opportunity to recognize that King is still trying to avoid giving the needs to sovereign. So are you saying that like this is the day he had to give the knees up, and since he didn't want to, he called in sick? Is that what you're saying?
Dizzy, I have to say, I think you're onto something.
Salute. He is onto something. And
who you got to thank for that?
Who did that for you?
Oh my god, you're terrible. And of course we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sastradamus, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati and Lord Patreon of the Iron Bank, my man, Lord Sovereign. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling, man. Totally good. Yeah. Finally, I get some rest, man. You know me, I never get any rest. So yesterday, I was out all day, but I felt rested. I came back home, was chilling with wifey. You know, Saturday's date day, so you know.
No doubt. Little date day, little chest. So any gaming this week, sir?
Actually, this is a sad thing. I haven't finished a game, and I don't know how damn long. Like, so I finally finished Bloodstained, whatever it's called, Ritual of the Night.
How was it?
Great game, man. Great game. To me, still, I still think Symphony of the Night is the GOAT. Like, there's nothing really touching that. But the Bloodstained is good. It's very good. The story is very cool. It has a lot of the same, obviously the same tropes as Symphony of the Night.
But we do got to point out that you couldn't play it on the Switch. We
yes, I could not do that.
Pettiness is happening right now.
But I agree with that. I have to give it that one because it was folded on the Switch.
I heard that Switch port is sus.
Yeah, and it's had I think it's had one patch, but that hasn't done much of anything. So.
Shout out to Stitch. He said keep the Switch talk to a minimum today.
Stitch, I don't see that. I don't see it in color either.
He said, we don't see it. We don't know what he's talking about.
So yeah, definitely. No, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, apologies to Attic because I saw that he messaged me while I was passed out in front of the TV. I happened to be on Xbox, and I saw it later. I was like, "Oh damn, Attic was trying to talk to me." passed out in front of Bloodstain. So.
Passed out in front of Bloodstain. So you already know our premium king of statues. He is out of commission right now. You see the cops going crazy right now. They all sad because King's not here. But of course we have the Lord of the Cooperative Experience and Gaming Ninja himself, the Shinobi, LordCognito, spreading that realness in the realm of the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So for me, man, it's just been got that new big battery Switch, man.
Oh, you did it. You did
the Switch got a big old battery. No, I told you it'd be true. So I looked at my old joint. It was like, I'm leaving you. Nah, GameStop got the good deal, y'all. Y'all got to check it out. GameStop's really out here. I think for your old Switch, about $70, you can be in the realm doing it up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely picked that up. And great, they have like extra trade-in or whatever. So it's been going probably up to about September's when they doing this deal. So you got a little time. But you could tell, like, the new one come in a red box. And it has a different cereal on it. So I've been doing that, and then what else I've been doing? I picked up Mark of the Ninja remastered. You ever played that?
Let's go. Yes, that is one of the greatest stealth games ever made, sir.
I never knew about this game. Like I never knew. Like, it's pure stealth with the action, but and the animation is lit. Yo, it's crazy, man. Salute. All right, what's up, Christopher Harkins, Pulliam? That's what's up. But yeah, man, that's been that for me. And I'm trying to think what else. A little Fell Seal, and of course some Destiny 2 prep going on. You know what I'm saying? Because Cross Save drops this week, so that's been what's been going on for me. You know what I'm saying? But we got a 2 week ago poll we got to get.
Oh, that does drop it on Tuesday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a date Tuesday. I think I might have to cancel that.
What's going on? You got to put your priorities
We
together?
clearly ain't gonna say why, but I think I might get sick. I feel a temperature coming on.
Oh man, it's all good. So we got a 2 week ago poll that we got to get into. The people have spoken to the question: with the recent signing of Ninja away from Twitch to the Mixer platform, what do you think about the impact of this move for Microsoft? The winner of the three-way ILP poll with a commanding 77% of the vote was yes. Ninja was a huge signing for the future of Microsoft Services and Engagement Group. Coming in at second place at only 13% of the vote was the no. Mixer stays third place behind YouTube and Twitch. And where the game's at. And in last place at a close 10% was the I don't care until Ninja drops off the bag on my Mixer stream. So what do the Lords think of this?
Addict, I'll let you go first. It's not of my generation.
You mean streaming's not of your generation?
Hell no.
You know streaming's not really my generation either, right? Like you can adapt. Like, is the internet your generation? Are you still on the internet?
Barely. You know me, barely.
Look at you in tech saying it's not your generation. Get out of here.
Addict,
I don't understand this.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's Ninja. They had every reason to get that dude and no reason not to get that dude. Mm-hmm. Like, people are like, oh, he was dethroned. Like, do you see it realize how dumb that sounds when people say that? Oh, he's not as big as he used to be. Mm. I mean, I'm not the biggest, like, in basketball or anything, but who's the best player right now in basketball?
Arguably would say LeBron. People would say
okay, who's the second best player?
Arguably would say Kevin Durant.
Would you get just because LeBron got dethroned by Kevin Durant? Would you not get LeBron?
Of course.
I just didn't understand that. Like,
so yeah, when King was saying that, did this dude, like, does he regularly beat him in views? Whoever this other dude, I forgot his name was. Does he regularly beat him, or did he beat him once?
I don't know.
I think he's consistently beating him now, but like. I mean, obviously, everyone on Twitch is beating him now. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, no doubt. Yo, real quick, Saw, we got to touch. There was a little UFC last night.
Yeah,
and
UFC.
I kind of glossed over
mute
that.
My mic.
Don't beat your mic. We kind of glossed over it real quick, but did you get a chance to check anything?
Yes, sir, man. It really it lived up to. I thought it was. I knew it was gonna be. There were going to be some hotly contested fights. I knew people were coming there to fight. So I'm like, you know what? This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Because, sometimes you get hit or miss with some of these co-main events and things of that nature. But I have to say, man, the top 3 fights, they brought it. They really, really brought it.
Yeah. Definitely, man. I mean, for me, obviously the standouts was the main event, the co-main event,
Right.
and the Diaz and Pettis joint, man. That was a bomb burner. I mean, tremendous jiu-jitsu scrambles on the ground.
Oh, that was
I
that. See,
mean,
if you love jujitsu,
shout out
that
to my boy Meds in the chat. See if Fon's in there, but it's like if you love the talent, you gotta understand the talent, the level of jiu-jitsu that was being displayed because
exactly.
you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Diaz Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, he's this level. He
Yeah.
showed how much better he was, but I
Yeah.
have to give Pettis credit for not quitting, still scrambling, reversing a couple of situations. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Diaz just a little too big. The pressure was too much. You know what I'm saying? But what did you think? What did you think, Sal?
No, I agree completely. I think like when you talk about Diaz is that dude was wait 3 years. 3 years. He's just that good. This is old hat for him. Like if there's ever an argument for the lack of somebody having like ring rust, it's Diaz.
Yeah.
He doesn't like he's not phased by this at all. He can be away for as long, and he came back and he looked good. You could tell his cardio wasn't quite where it normally is.
Right.
He was getting a little tired, which was surprising to me. Which I thought that's where Pettis had that opening. But I just think Diaz again. Yeah, he is kind of physically was a little big for Pettis in terms of being able to sort of throw him around and whatnot. And ultimately, he was able just to sort of match him move for move on the ground. And that's what put him over the top. But I thought it was a great fight, well contested fight. Pettis, sometimes I don't know. I think sometimes Pettis is his own worst enemy because I just feel like he still wants to do flashy things. And he's not really there anymore. Like the speed isn't quite there anymore. It's like I would rather him be more boring and win. No, seriously, like.
I feel you. I think for me with him that's my man. So I'm a little biased, but I think with him, I don't necessarily think the move up was a great move because them dudes are just bigger than him. Like even when he beat Wonder Boy, I was like, kind of got lucky. It was, what I'm saying? Not that you're lucky. He's skilled enough to do craziness that he could beat anybody, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you stick to the game plan and you press him and you take the kicks away, he's gonna slow down. Like Dos Anjos set the blueprint to beat him, and I felt he never really recovered. And then the other thing is just like, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he need to go down. I don't think this weight is for him. Them boys is they killers up there, man. But what you think?
This goes back to where like he's older. It may be more difficult for him to be at that weight class. So it's easier for him to not kill himself in training camp and be at this weight class and hope that his power translates. And it doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't. So at this point, like I said, you can't get away with the flash now because you don't have the strength, you don't have the speed. You have to be boring if you want to win, or else they're gonna cut you. They're gonna cut you. I mean, again, he can still obviously could put on an exciting fight, but I just think he doesn't have that little extra you need to get him over the top, especially if he continues to fight the way he's always fought.
No, I think you nailed it, Sav. And then we'll see what happens. What goes on with Nick moving forward. They're talking about a Masvidal jump. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, I need to
that would
see
be
that.
sick. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Masvidal's feeling himself right now.
Yeah,
so
you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cuban Jesus out here. You know what I'm saying? Doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, real quick, did you see the drama between Pettis and Brent Askren?
No.
All right, so real quick. I know this will be going low, but yo, Pettis. So I think Yoel Romero showed Pettis the knockout of Askren and was like, yeah, he got what he deserved. And then apparently Pettis and Askren are teammates. It's supposed to be cool. So somebody recorded it and sent it back to Ben Askren like, yo, you need new friends. Pettis out here laughing at you getting stretched. And so yeah, it was spooky. It was spooky. Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the gym tomorrow.
I mean the funny thing, I think more and more UFC's gotten very WWE. So like a lot of this stuff could be placed, just to make fights exciting. But we'll see. But real quick on the main event though, like shout out to Stipe, man. In that first round, he looked outclassed 100%. I was like, oh god, he doesn't belong in the ring with this dude. Like Daniel just picked him up and tossed him like a rag doll. He was punching him in the face. He wasn't respecting his power. And then, Stipe just wrote it out. Like honestly, like when somebody gets knocked out, and Stipe's always had a little bit of a fame of not having the greatest chin. So when he got put out last time, I said, I don't know. If Cormier is not afraid of his power, he steps in his face. It's gonna happen again. It's just gonna happen again. And it didn't happen. He took some good punches from Daniel. He rode that out. He really did look outclassed in that first round, a little bit better in the second round, better yet in the third round. And then he switched up his game plan in the fourth, went to the body, just put the wind right out of Daniel, and then it just barraged him to the
body
face.
shots, bro. He was digging them. Like, I felt every one of them joints. Oh, shout out to Wraith World in the chat. He was mad petty last night. We watched this fight. And I'm talking, I think it was me and Cactus. Cactus MMA dude. And we talk going back and forth. And he's like, yeah, Bones. And I'm like, why do Bones Jones fans always have to talk about Bones during the DC fight? Like, Bones is not fighting tonight. Like, I find it funny that anytime DC fights, they still mad. I'm like, y'all beat dude. Like, what is the issue?
Yeah,
like,
there's no issue. Like,
there's no issue. He's not on Bones' level. Like, it's funny.
He's just not. It's been shown he's not. Yeah. And especially not at light heavy. That's just that. That's too. Cormier can be anybody else at light heavy, but Bones.
Exactly.
And at heavy, I honestly feel he could beat anybody at heavy. His game plan was dumb yesterday. He felt he was feeling himself too much, that he could take Stipe's punches. And you heard Joe Rogan saying that Stipe can knock you out. If he's standing with you and you're not hurting him considerably, then you always have to be wary of this guy knocking you out.
Did you see that petition going around trying to get Joe Rogan to do the presidential candidate debates? I would pay to see that. I literally would.
Listen, I'm going to say one last thing on the Stipe thing we move on, is that, listen, let's not act like Stipe wasn't defending with his face for 3 rounds.
Yo,
Stipe's green paper. I was tweeting like, "What is the game plan? Like, you just gonna keep getting hit,
punched in the face by the shorter dude,
by the shorter dude. The head movement, fam?
No reach,
no reach. I'm like, why is this little guy getting up in your section for no reason? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand that. So it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But he's the bigger guy, and look, credit to him. That adjustment he made in what was it, round 4?
Yeah.
One of the best adjustments, because I saw it take its toll. And I saw, the little love handle. Then it was like,
hold up.
This is getting spooky, you know what I'm saying? So I see that.
You saw the solar plexus ruffling.
Yeah.
You know, when you the slow motion, you feel the skin ruffling in the wind. You hear them as a
you saw a little blubber coming out. So I see it, but I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't expect that, and I got to give it to Stipe for really hanging tough. And I guess, if that was his game plan, to just take all the output, wait for him to tire out, and then,
rope-a-doped them. Yeah. It was a weird way to rope-a-dope somebody, because he was ready. He was getting pounded, and I didn't understand that at all. But again, if he felt he could take his punches and see where that took him, hey, more power to him. It worked for him this time. It's very difficult to change up strategy in the middle of a fight like that. Fight IQ. I don't care how long you've been a professional. In the middle of a fight, you're exhausted. You're searching for air. You're probably not thinking straight. To be able to switch up your game plan and have it work that way is a testament. So again, shout out to Stipe. Got the belt again. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Because the heavyweight division is crazy. Do
you think Jones moves up?
I don't know, man. If at this point he's run through everyone, so. And again, he's getting a little older. It may be more difficult for him to sort of drop weight if he has to do that during training camp. Let's see how his power translates going up. Hey, the thing is, he could do it once, and he's getting a title fight. He's not going up to not get a title fight.
Easily.
So I would do it. Yeah.
So it looks like we have a returning legendary guest, one of the OGs of ILP history. It has been a long time since I've seen that avatar in this chat. Salute to my man, Lord Anchorman V2 version 2. What's going on, man?
I heard you guys were lacking some premium experience today.
There we go.
Hey, what happened to version 1?
What's up, bro? How you been, man?
I've been good. The usual move, doing stuff.
You've been kind of low key. You've been like in the cut, man. Like I haven't seen you out in these streets too much. You've been kind of chilling.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's a young man's game. get fighting on Twitter.
Passing the baton. Is that what it
That's
is?
what's up. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, man. So, I appreciate you holding us down. Again, for those who just joined, the King is sick. He's not frauding playing Switch. I see you, old school. I see you, Victor. He's not doing
King's
any
playing
ducking.
his 5-hour Switch now.
Yeah, Victor said he's ducking. Old school says playing Switch. But the King, please reach out to the King. He's not doing well. He's under the rope right now. So getting better, healing up. Told the man to rest, feel better. But we got Anchor Man in the building, man. What you been playing at least? Have you been getting a chance to play anything, Anchor?
Man, Fallout 76, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, see, this is why you haven't been
dude,
on. This is why you
I've not been on.
This is why you haven't been invited back. No, I'm just joking.
No,
What's going on with 76,
really,
man?
it's been a blast to play. Like they've been working hard on updating that game, like for everybody.
Wow.
Like I've been really impressed with it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like when we were out there for E3, I was one of the few that loved all the updates that they were talking about. You know what I'm saying? I really just saw. You know what I'm waiting for? I think I just need them to get in that Game Pass, Anchor. I think if they get in that Game Pass,
it's not happening anytime soon. Like everybody asks me that, and every time, all I can think about is if they do it, it's gonna be maybe summer next year.
Oh man!
Like they're going too hard on these updates for it to be free.
It's just a shame because I think it would be the perfect boost to that population and just get them going.
I am not sure about that because I see a ton of new people getting on every day, and like they're playing late too. I was up till about 2-3 o'clock last night playing, and I kept seeing new people like jumping in. It's like, oh, level one. Like, wow, damn.
Hold on. Attic, I need this one. Attic, I need this super chat, sir. From Disney.
So shout out to the $2 super chat from Dizzy. King can keep this. The King can keep his knees. Fallout 76 isn't needed.
Wow, he's willing to forgo King's knees just to stop the Fallout talk. Wow, that's what we doing. That's what we doing, Dizzy. Shout out Philly Eagle. What's up, Ash and Luca? What's going on? Christopher Hart hating. All right, I see all y'all. So let's get into these topics, man. We got a lot to discuss. So first off is Lord Addict, man. We've got something special going on Monday, a big gaming event. What's happening, man?
So we have Gamescom. So it's pretty much like I think it's technically the biggest event in the world, right? In gaming, is Gamescom.
Yeah, it's the biggest fan event.
Yeah.
It's
So we have that.
Event.
We have that going on. So we have an Inside Xbox. I don't know if that's tomorrow or the next day, but there are certain rumors going around that they're going to announce a studio acquisition there. We could definitely talk about that. What I really want to go into really is, what exactly do you think that Xbox or really anyone that's going to Gamescom can announce? There's rumors that Sony might be announcing something there. I have no clue on that. They've been kind of quiet this whole year, but that's besides the point. So what do you guys think Xbox mainly, because they're one of the biggest people that's going to be there, is going to be showing?
Let's start off with Lord Anchorman, man. What you think, bro?
For Gamescom,
what's your prediction? What you think might happen? What you expecting?
Let's see. I would assume more Gears talk. They've been kind of building up to that.
Right.
With Fallout 76 on Game Pass.
Like I said, I don't think that's till next year. Like I think if anything happens,
to Game Pass.
if it's Bethesda, I think it eventually will. It's just going to be a while. Because the problem is going to be with them is they just they're going too hard with these updates too frequently, and that's too much money being spent on that. And if it doesn't work, then they're going to throw it on Game Pass. But if it does work, they'll wait. They'll hold out. Anyway, back to that. So Gears of War, I think that'll be the big thing. We'll probably see a good campaign mission, like all the way through. Get everybody hyped for it.
No. Theoretically, if they do a campaign mission, and it's like something kind of they said they're going to debut a campaign. They didn't really say what they're going to do with the campaign. Well, let's say it's like something small, like doesn't really answer anything. Do you think they're going to get obliterated over that?
If it's sizable, like at least 5 minutes of it, that's fine.
Because at
everyone's
that
gonna be
point,
cool
like,
with it.
at that point, it's only a couple of weeks off. I really don't want to see much if that's the case.
Wait, now you don't want to see it.
At this point, if it's bad, it's bad. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no going back.
Well, I think the
it's
reason
done.
that they might be doing this is because they don't, obviously we can't give their definition of what's bad and what's good. They don't think it's bad, and they're tired of the narrative being thrown around that just because they're not showing something, it's bad.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I would say I think 5 minutes of it is fine. I think we do get that because they did say they were showing. Didn't they give a timeline? I don't know if they said it was going to be at Gamescom, but they specifically said they had a timeline for when they were showing campaign before launch. It was like. I remember Rod Ferguson saying something specific about they have that broken down, how they plan to do that. So we will see it before launch. I don't know if it's Gamescom.
No doubt. So anything else, Anchor? What about any other platforms? Anything you're looking forward to, expecting? What's your mindset?
Mindset for this one is similar to I had for E3. I have no expectations for it. Just stay completely in the dark, see what happens. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and you're not gonna be disappointed. I mean, because right now, like I just with Xbox, it's kind of a known quantity. We're in a holding position.
I can't really take you defending Fallout 76. I can't really take your opinion in this matter. Like, how do you defend that game? But Microsoft completely. I can't have no.
It's not. No, I mean that's across the board for Gamescom. I just don't. Because every year it's like a flip flop. Like you don't know what you're gonna get that year. Like it's gonna be an explosion or nothing. It does feel
inconsistent.
It does feel bigger this year than it did last year. Like it feels like they are putting more stock into it. Everybody. Like so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I feel you. Lord Attic. Now you also mentioned something in reference to possible game studio announcement. Is that the Clobril? Going on.
He said that he thinks that they're going to announce it. Now he has been consistent in the past, so I don't really know.
Clobril's the dude.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would say there's a good chance it happens. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be at XO, because a lot of these insiders go off information that's outdated. But it doesn't necessarily make it not true.
Right.
It just means that, there at the end they had a last minute change, and it made the information he got 3 months ago has been changed by then, and now it's not being showed at Gamescom, it's going to be showed at XO. So I think it's a good chance that it's going to happen. Now, I have no clue what studio would be. Like, I after E3, anything is up for grabs at this point. Like,
Lord Solve. Let's get these predictions, man. Gamescom. What's up? Where you at?
So let's run everything down in order of when stuff's gonna happen. So I think the first thing is the Nintendo indie showcase, right?
Let's get it.
First thing. So obviously they said we're gonna get like 20 minutes of indie stuff. Obviously stuff that's been on Steam that hasn't been made its way to the eShop yet. It's gonna be announced. There was also rumors about 2 games that were going to be specifically dropped, and they used the word "hot" was specifically used. So, it's rumored that apparently Super Hot was updated on the eShop, but it has not yet been released there. So that could be a leak. So one of them could be Super Hot, and the other one they're thinking might be Hotline Miami, which has not made its way to the Switch yet. Okay. So that's that. In terms of other, I'm
hearing Ori talk.
Yeah, I'm hearing Ori talk. So obviously they, Cuphead's on there, and that's gonna kind of bleed into my topic later on. But yeah, I definitely see Ori as being the next one announced from Microsoft that's gonna be on there. So it makes sense. The game's been out for a long time. It's a good way to get people who aren't in the Xbox ecosystem interested in what is a great platforming game, and maybe have Ori 2 make its way there as well. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. For Xbox, I think I think we're gonna see some Gears stuff. Obviously, we're gonna hear something like Breakpoint stuff. I know that Blair Witch is coming soon, so that's something that they're gonna be talking about. Because I think they have to focus on that game. That game is essentially an Xbox exclusive, Xbox PC exclusive.
And you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. And I know people are just excited about it because of the way the game looks.
Another thing that I saw Mads talk about, which is interesting, just quickly, is the fact that we're gonna have Shadowkeep Destiny on.
Say it again, Saul. Say it again.
Yeah, they're coming home. They're coming home. So that that's probably nothing, but it's nice that that's a thing. Yes. That the Bungie at Microsoft could shake hands.
Microsoft stage. Yes. Continue.
So then we have Stadia Connect.
Phil Luminous.
And Luminous in the building. I think since they detailed some of the pricing models and stuff, I'm sure they'll go into more detail about that, something more concrete. But they got to show the games now. They got to put up now, right? They've been talking about this. They have to show these games in an open environment, actually working, so people can touch it and be like, yeah, this works. Yeah. So I'm thinking that it's going to be beyond the connect they're going to do. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stations there so people can actually play and get a real sense of how this works.
Yeah, we need that real-time feedback. Yeah, we need that in public hands. You know what I mean?
Because like I said, I played it. I did that trial thing earlier on, but again, that according to them, that wasn't even ideal conditions. So what we're supposed to get as the end product is even better than that. So, and I was impressed by what I played before. So I'm kind of anxious to see how that works and how other people who finally get their hands on it feel about it. And then at the end of the night, we're gonna have the official opening night, and then since that's Keighley, that's gonna be a lot of Kojima there.
Death Stranding is gonna BFFs in the building. Let's throw it down.
In the building. So, yeah, man, I think we may be a little underwhelmed by that statement they made, like all these however many games are going to be announced for the first time. We might be underwhelmed by what they actually are. But I do think they are putting more stock in the show this year than they did last year. So I'm excited about it, just to hear stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm with you, Sav. I think you and Addict, I'm definitely on the same type of page. I'm with Anchorman in this, though. Keep expectations low, especially for Inside Xbox. Especially for
it's not anything personal. It's not like I don't trust you, but it's just like, I don't know if you're bringing it this year or next year. So I just want to be prepared.
I'm with you, bro. Like, I am so with you on that. Like, just keep it low. What I'm saying is, like, look, I'm hyped for what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? As far as, like, the Gamescom opening night.
Especially keep it low because they still have an XO.
Yeah.
If they wasn't having an XO, I would say, there's a decent little bit more chance it's going to be a really good show. But since there's an XO, don't expect any big bomb drops. Like,
now, for me personally, I'm more excited about the opening night live thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
That to me.
When is that?
I believe
that's at the end of the night. So let me see. Hold on one second.
Like 11 a.m. PST or something like that.
It's 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like that to me is what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot going there. Now, again, with the Gears gameplay, even though I disagree with the way it was showed, we talked about that ad nauseum at E3. At least, clearly this was the marketing plan, right? So like they clearly was using Gamescom as a jump off point to say, okay, boom, this is where we're going to do this thing. So, let's see what it got. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how they show out, see if it looks good or not, get the fear mongering out the way if not, if it's not. And then to Addict's point with Clobrill joint, it would be interesting if Microsoft dropped the new studio acquisition. If they made an announcement, I think that would be cool. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, like, all Xbox got to do, show Gears, make it look good. One game studio announcement would be nice. I'm not expecting it. If they did both of those, I'm fine with Xbox on their showing for Gamescom. But as far as Nintendo, they got the little Nintendo Direct World thing, the Indie Direct Show exclusive. I want to see that. Obviously, Bungie's got Shadowkeep. That's going to be crazy. They definitely looking to show something. You know what I'm saying? So we got to see what's going on with that. Now, I will tell y'all this. We know Sony going to show that Kojima. We know that Death Stranding's coming. If they snuck out a Last of Us 2 release date?
Yeah.
Fam. that might be stealing the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to keep it, 1,000 on that. But I'm not going to lie. Like, normally, like, I don't really care for Gamescom as much. Not that I shouldn't say I don't care. I don't usually get hyped for Gamescom, right? But this is the first one overall, whatever. Not what Inside Xbox is doing, but overall, I'm excited to see what every one of the big three are gonna do. It seems like they all have a little something to show, and it could be special. So we'll see what happens, man. That's what I got on it.
Any speculation on what that Microsoft studio might be? I know we've done this a million times, but
well, I mean, there's the one that's been everyone's floating around, a Studio MDHR. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's been talking about that one for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of like Old Faithful when it comes to the prediction.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like
mine is an Old Faithful, totally Old Faithful. It's just Crytek. It's like, I want them to just buy Crytek.
Even if it doesn't happen, 6 years from now, we're gonna be talking about buying Studio MDHR. We're gonna be talking about this forever.
I know.
Other than that, if I had to guess, what was it? Come back to me in a minute.
Who is it? About that, I want to talk about. I want to bring it back to Attic real quick about. Even though we kind of low key setting shots at Inside Xbox. I mean, I'm looking at the lineup. What's it? Gears 5, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, right? Wasteland, Blair Witch. It says Game Pass, so we'll be expecting some, announcements there. Ghost Recon Breakpoint on their stage. Yeah. Surge 2, Metro, the 2 kernels, whatever it is. And it said, what the funny part is? It's the accessory.
Here we go.
They have a bubble that says accessories. I think that's kind of hilarious. So what about Inside Xbox? Could we get our expectations up just a little with that, Anchorman? Like, in Attic, do we get a little bit more excited? No? We can't get excited?
No. I'd rather come home and watch season 6 of the 100 that's on Netflix before I watch Inside Xbox. I will catch the highlights on IGN. Because I'm a content creator, I'll probably watch it anyway. I'm frauding, but I might even stream it. I don't know. It's at 2, right?
Yeah, something like. Let me look at the Inside Xbox.
You mean specifically the Xbox?
Right, Inside Xbox is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's the AM?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on.
Remember,
that's ridiculous. I don't care what time it is. They should go by my time, okay? I think I might stream that. Do you guys want to stream that on the IOP channel?
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that action, man. We can see what's up.
We do a reaction.
I'll be at work so you guys can handle all the.
Us vampires can handle that. But like, Attic, you not hyping the least for any Gears 5? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the campaign's not most likely going to be showed there because they said they're going to save that for on live. But they're probably going to show like a Horde mode, maybe some other mode.
Well, they've already announced that they're going to show Horde at the very least. I think what they'll do is they'll end it with like a brief trailer, like a sneak peek of what they're going to show at his exclusive thing, kind of like EA did with the Anthem gameplay.
Right.
It's going to be like some sneak peek that's going to get people hyped to go watch the rest of it.
Yo, the chat is killing you right now. As Fastback as Citizen said, you going to be asleep.
I mean, it is what it is. I probably will be asleep because I don't get home. Because I can't get to sleep till like 5 in the morning, so I'm going to be on like 5 hours of sleep, so I probably will be asleep.
No doubt. Anchorman, what do you think? I mean, is Inside Xbox, after we read that list, does that excite you a little bit more? Does it give you a little bit more hope?
I mean, again, same situation. Is this going to be the one that's going to actually blow the doors off, or is this going to be the one we're just going to sit back and wait again? Yeah. I don't know. Like, even if I get the list of what's going on there, I don't know what we're getting out of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mean much beyond that.
I feel that. That's very, very interesting. Well, Attic, you got anything else more on your topic?
The biggest thing I do want to point out there is, do you think it's safe to say that Xbox got marketing for Destiny going on forward? Like, it's on their stage? Like,
I'm not sure about that. Namely, just because I think at this point they're trying to say like, hey, we're not doing this thing with Activision anymore. Right. We learned not to deal with devils in the first place.
But they've gotten big enough where they can. Bungie is big enough where they can promote on their own. They don't need to be on someone's stage.
That's the thing, though. But I think this is more of like a gesture of goodwill than anything else. Yeah, like we didn't forget about you.
No, but it is interesting though. Addict's making a good point. They didn't have to be. I mean, look, I've been following it. Shout out to Ebons. We've been doing the whole last word thing recently. We've been following it, and they have been very clear in their mission statements to say we are independent. We want to get on as much platforms as possible, but then to turn around and see them on Microsoft stage, it's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it does. My eyebrow raised slightly. Maybe it's probably nothing but just good faith, and they're gonna show. So Microsoft's gonna be there. Maybe they just say, accommodate them. You may be very.
I don't think it is that. I think there's some kind of deal going on with the marketing rights because, like I said, for a while now, they've always showed something small on Sony, but like a trailer or something. But it looks like they're going to show something relevant at this. Why would they show all these streams and then tune in for Gamescom? Then you look at the Gamescom and they're on Microsoft stage, the inside Xbox.
And it's weird because the thing about it is they're so big as part of the launch of Stadia, right? You're getting the game for free on Stadia. Right. It's one of the first games that if it works well, it's going to show what that platform can do, especially in a multiplayer setting. So it has to be a good launch on Stadia. So I would. It's a little weird that it's not being touted more as a Stadia thing at this point.
But to shout out to Bad Bit Games in the chat, he actually made a good point. He's saying that there's no way because Destiny is also being pushed by Bungie with Stadia launch. So he's saying just got to be good faith. Because I will say they were promoting Destiny too hard in conjunction with the Stadia launch in November, and we know Google's gonna be there, right? Aren't they gonna have some type of presence at
the Connect? They're gonna have the same thing they did last time when they talked about the pricing model and all that stuff. That's what they're gonna have.
Unless someone dropped the bag off late minute, unless Phil Dominus dropped the bag off. Let me see. I don't know, man. We gotta see. This is very interesting. The whole Bungie thing. That's what I got. But anything else up on your tag before we move on? We got a lot to get into, sir. All right, I guess not.
No. I'm fine.
No doubt. So this is King's topic. We're gonna bring it up on Halo Infinite. Got some news going on, man. Looks like the creative director, I believe his name is Tim Longo, and man, he is leaving 343. An announcement was made, so it looks like Microsoft has confirmed the departure. They sent over a statement. They said roles and responsibilities will change to evolve and meet the needs of the game, and I believe they are now executive producer Mary Olsen. She will take over the campaign team, and then I believe the guy Chris Lee, he still will remain studio head of Halo Infinite. So internet has been a little bit of a tizzy with what this news is. 1 year right before launch. I just want to bring this to the round table. This King's topic as far as what do the Lords think about this? Is this being overblown? Is this a big deal? Where do we stand that, one of the leads, is departing from Halo Infinite before the launch?
So the red flag that comes up for me, right, is the fact that before he left, he was placed in another position that was essentially a demotion. I mean, if you are the creative director and you change roles, unless you become head of studio or something like that, generally it's going to be a demotion. If not, just maybe a lateral move. So that's the red flag to me, right? He was sort of removed from that position and then ultimately decided to walk away. That's the way it looks anyway. So that's the red flag. I mean, a year out from launch, who knows how much of this game is done? Maybe 60% of the game is done. How much of that is the campaign? So it's just one of those things where that kind of makes my eyes go up a little bit because of the way it happened. If he had just decided, hey man, after however many years at 343, I've decided to move on. I leave the team in great hands. Whatever, the game is looking great. That's not necessarily what happened. There was a shakeup before that that sort of seems like it pushed him to decide to walk away completely. That's what worries me. As a difference that happened with Bioware.
Caught stealing boxes. He said, I think, did we miss a super chat? Y'all Stitch with the Bungie got burned by Sony on E3. Think about it. That's back to the whole Bungie thing. You know what I'm saying? As King would say, I think you may be onto something, Stitch. Shout out to Stitch with the $2 super chat. Sorry about that, we missed that, brother. But I mean, back to what we were saying as far as this is concerned. I mean, is this something we need to look more into? Is it more than what is? Was this guy demoted, moved around? They didn't like the direction.
What did he get demoted to? Do we have an answer for that?
So
No, actually, I don't know what position he got moved into. It just says that he got moved into another position, and then ultimately decided to leave.
right.
But has anyone ever considered the possibility maybe something's happened with his family or something like that, and maybe he just doesn't have as much time as he used to be a creative director?
I mean, they can't.
So they moved him down, so it was a less intensive role, and it's not working, so they moved him out.
I feel like if it was that, he would have just stayed where he was.
Right.
Like
I mean,
when he moved down. But it feels like he got demoted because of him, and then after he realized and didn't, it's like he got demoted, and then after a certain amount of time after being demoted, he's like, you know what? It's just not for me anymore. I got demoted.
According to Shry, his exact words, in Longo, the industry vetting service creative director for Halo 5, had moved to a different role a few weeks ago. And then according to two people familiar with the goings-on at 343, this week he left the company entirely. So there's definitely a sequence of events here. It's just interesting, right?
Because the only thing I could think of is like, unless I'm playing devil's advocate for a moment. That's my purpose right now. There is a possibility, it could be a situation where he just didn't have the time as much as he used to, and so he took a lesser role that would have been less intensive, and so, but then it just wasn't working out, and so I just got to go.
I think it's just simple as he wasn't working out as a creative director. You know what's funny? What's hilarious is you got all these people on Twitter that are saying stuff like, Halo 5's bad. Halo 4 is bad. They get rid of the creative director. Halo 6 is going to be bad. Dude, he made the other games bad theoretically. You should be glad he's getting rid of.
Say that shout out to get us off. I saw you see it right
Shout out to JD Gamer with the $5 super chat. He got demoted, then fired. He was responsible for the bad campaign of Halo 5. So don't be worried. Be glad, because we'll now get a good campaign. So JD Gamer is getting clear how he feels about this.
Yo, JD, you might be on to something. Because
I'm just like, at the end of the day, like, you can't want change and say stuff like, this game's bad, and then midway, I wouldn't say it's midway, but they get rid of the creative director, which, what hit the foundation that he put together for that game's already pretty much set in stone. Let's be real here. Game comes out next year. So, you can't complain about that. And then when they go to get rid of that key piece that it resulted in the games that you hated, then you're like, yo, this is looking spooky. Halo 6 is going to be bad. People leaving. Like, it makes no sense to me.
I feel you, Addy, but here's the thing. Like, we got to admit, like, before a launch, when a prominent person leaves, you do feel a way. You do feel like what's really going on.
Right.
I see your point, though. And trust me, I hear what JD Game is saying. I hear what you're saying. Look, I'm just gonna
this could literally
jump into my
just be
real quick, because I feel where y'all going with it. Look, all I'm gonna say is this: I'm with JD on this part and you on this part. Y'all know how I feel about Halo 5 campaign. I feel that was the biggest marketing misdirection of what was the story they said it was going to be.
Probably in gaming history.
In history. I've never seen.
I definitely agree with that.
Bro, remember that?
Because I was excited for this whole big lock takeover. I was like, yes.
Yo, Anchor. Remember me and you was on some team lock. We was starting trouble. It was fun. We thought this was what it was going to be. They might kill Master Chief. We was like, it's going down. So just for the fun and to get people hyped, and then we get the game, and it was nothing like that. It was just a very minute interaction between so if he, again, I'm not throwing him under the bus completely, but if he, under his watch, has something to do with that campaign, and he is no longer part, and now they got Mary, if Mary's bars or narrative is better, I'm going with Mary then. Because I didn't like Halo 5 campaign.
We got a $5 super chat from... Super chat from JD Gamer.
Yes.
Phil saw what he was doing. What did his annual game check, and Phil said, "Oh no, not again! You're demoted. Now get this mess fixed. You have 14 months. They don't really have 14 months. They would have like 9, because the last couple months, like if the game's not done in the last couple months, like they have to extend the game, the game life cycle.
Hold on, one quick. Anchor is coming for us. Anchor, other Zeke is coming for us. He said, "You guys don't know the story. That's why you missed the marketing." He coming for us.
I mean, it is what it is. They had an entire chapter just talking to people on a bridge. But okay, man, we'll go with you. But I think this is literally just one of those things. The creative director wasn't putting out what he was told and what his responsibilities were. Right. He was demoted to someone that could handle that, or quote unquote handle that. And that dude wasn't feeling that, and he left the company. I think that's literally what happened here.
Listen, so much to say on this, man. Look, shout out to Fastback. He said there's always be creative differences, directions in the workplace does not mean doom and gloom. I get both sides of the argument. Here's the thing. Like, the fearmonger side is going to be like, Infinite is doomed. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a horrible look before the launch for the creative director to leave.
Yeah, you know what it could have been? It could have been...
Yeah.
It could have been done for some competition reasons. Like, yeah, I mean, he could have been trying to be poached by someone else, and Microsoft sensed it, and they demoted him, and then he left. And before you know, he's going to surface somewhere in another company. Like, look, stuff like this happens all the time.
The hardcore side, I get, is going to say, look, developers leave every day, B. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, again, not to stress, the Halo 5 campaign, as far as the misrepresentation of what they said the story was going to be to what we actually got. You know what I'm saying? I definitely felt the way about that. Now, at the end of the day, Chris Lee's still running things. So he's still at the top of the totem pole. You know what I mean? So in that sense, nothing really has changed. But it is interesting to see how much of an impact Longo would have had. And I get the vibe it feels creative differences. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think it's not a creative difference kind of thing?
What I see is funny about it too is these people attacking this scenario. I'm like, where are these people when the initiative keeps poaching high people in Naughty Dog? Like, there's no doom and gloom there. Yeah. Like, I mean, they took like 2 or 3 high level people in their team.
But I think that's something that's understood within the games industry, especially like.
But it's understood for Sony, but not Microsoft.
No, but this is the reason why the initiative went to Santa Monica, right? Because all of the top talent is there amongst the big first-party studios. So yeah, they poach each other all the time. It could just be people, highly skilled people getting bored of what they're doing, jumping to something else, right?
It's him taking the job, right? That's interesting,
right?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, to Cog's point, like, I just don't think when it comes. I'm sorry. Go back to what you said, Cog. Specifically, your point. What was the question?
No, my point is, I guess I want to focus on his title as creative director, right?
Right.
But my thing is, like, we don't know what's going on. So let's be clear. None of us are in 343. We do not know what's going on. How much?
Or are we?
Right. To be continued.
Well, at the end of the day, this isn't Bonnie Ross. Like,
but here's the thing.
This isn't like.
Even if it was Bonnie, right? My point is this. I'm just trying to say is we don't know. You know how some people have a title, but then there's some people that actually do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know the level of impact and influence he had in the creation of this. That's where I'm a little concerned. Like, is he directly responsible? Because if he was directly responsible for 5, then yeah, my thing is Bush's. Because I didn't like 5. You know what I'm saying? But if he just had like minor overseeing thing and then, somebody else was really hands-on in the trenches with it, then it's different. You know what I'm saying? So it's very still muddy.
He was the creative director for 5, right? So the creative vision, the overarching vision of 5 was on him. I guess you assume that it's on him, right? So if that is the case, right, and they did, and he was in that same position now, and they did not like where it was going, then I can definitely see a move being made. At the same time, though, it's like, if that is the case, you're a year out from launch, and they say that is the case,
right?
How do you rejigger an entire story, an entire backbone of where
all I know
is going next in a year?
All I know
that's spooky.
Is if this goes good, this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay, if this goes good, I'm gonna say it's because of this decision. This decision got this to where it was, and if this goes bad, I'm gonna say the same thing. It was this decision. It was Microsoft's fault. That's what I'm gonna be doing in a year from now. I don't know about you guys.
At the end of the day, I don't think if this guy's influence is that big, if you make this change this late in the development of
it's not gonna change anything.
Well,
this late in the game, dude. Like, we're looking at it right now. But
let's be real to Addict. How late in the game are we? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would say we probably have 9 months of development time left.
Yeah.
And then this
unless
is
the game
thing.
gets delayed.
So
Right.
what happens
like,
if the game gets delayed?
All right, hold on. We got some super chats, y'all. We got some super chat. Shout out to Fastback. Lord Addict taking the common sense mantle while Lord King is away. Throw these overly concerned armchair developers in the bushes. Damn, Fastback. So get the second one. Get the next one.
JD Gamer, shout out, $10 super chat. It all seems simple. He made a bad campaign in Halo 5. They were giving him another shot. When they saw what he was doing, they demoted him. He couldn't take the shame and got fired.
Well, at the end of the day, like, is it concerned? Yeah. But we need to see. First off, I would be more concerned that we didn't see nothing when the dude was there. Mm-hmm. We didn't see nothing at E3. We saw a dude come up, lights come on, he comes out in a campaign. Like, I'm more concerned as the studio as a whole than I am about one person leaving.
And this is the worry, though, right? If this move happens a year out from launch, right, and it is because there's an issue with the campaign, with the overall creative vision of Halo Infinite, what can you do to that in a year's time that is not going to totally wreck this game?
I mean...
we just don't have enough. I guess my question to Fastback and Addict that when is there time to be concerned? When do you actually get alarmed when you hear? Do you need 4?
When the game comes out and it gets a 69.
No, but I'm saying, like, what is the criteria for you guys to be concerned? Because it seems like none of this is a big deal. You know, this is more for Fastback. I'm just teasing Fastback. He knows what I'm doing right now. This is not for Addict. This is really for Fastback. Shout out to Fastback. Shout out to NLG. You know you're my dudes. I'm just playing games right now. But devil's advocate, like, what does it take for you to say, yo, I am concerned? Because it seems like none of this bothers guys on that camp. I'm just curious.
I just think that people do get ahead of themselves. Now, people that I know that are generally concerned, I'm like, cool, man. Like, you know, you're concerned because, probably one of the head people is leaving the company. He got demoted and he randomly left. That could be, see, the demoted part makes me less concerned because it feels like more of an internal thing and not like a development thing. Like, you know, he could have done anything. This dude could have been caught with hookers. Like, he could have been, like, anything this dude could have done. Like, anything that would cause this dude to get demoted could have happened. And then he left because of the demotion. That's what I see on it. Okay. Like, we don't know if it was, you know, like Anchorman could have been family related. Like, he took the demotion because he couldn't dedicate more time. Okay. And then, you know, things got to the point where he couldn't even dedicate the time he had there, so he left the company.
That's a possibility.
Like, it could be a variety of different things.
Right. But my question to you, Addict, still stands. When do you actually get concerned? Because it seems
I'm not saying you can't be concerned now.
No, I'm just talking about.
I'm just saying that there's too much.
Forget this specific one, right? But give me a scenario where you actually get concerned before launch about a game, whether it be people leaving, or what do you need to hear to get you concerned?
I would never get concerned over one person leaving. It would be a group of people leaving. So like when it's like abandoned ship.
The entire
so like if you see one person.
No, wait. So would you have been concerned if Cory Barlog left 9 months before release?
But that's a different scenario. That's the equivalent of Bonnie Ross.
Wasn't he the creative director?
But that's like equivalent of Bonnie Ross leaving.
Wasn't he creative director?
That's not this. He's creative director, but he's head of that studio too.
It is this.
Isn't Bonnie Ross head of the studio?
Hold on, Philly in the super chat. How many of $5 super chat? How many of you know the story, status, direction of Halo Infinite? I'll wait.
You're absolutely right, Philly Eagle. You're absolutely.
I can tell you.
Look,
I can tell you right now.
I'm telling you. All I'm telling you right now is that for this particular scenario. There's just too many variables we don't know.
Right.
Like, he could have got demoted for anything.
You are 100% right. My reason for worrying is that Halo Infinite has a lot more riding on its shoulders than just a regular Halo game. It is the Halo that's supposed to...
This is Chief Swan Song. Right, this is it.
Right the ship, right? It's supposed to help the Scarlet launch in a positive way. If this game fails out of the box, it's a poor game, Scarlet goes with it, right? At least the narrative around
so you're saying if
the game has a lot more riding on it than just Halo.
But I get that. But at the same time, it's like from this one person leaving that got demoted, we can't say the whole game's in development hell. It's not like we've seen bad gameplay of the game. We haven't seen nothing like that.
No, but I don't think he's saying development hell.
We don't know anything.
Like if it would have been like people saw Crackdown, we had concern for Crackdown for reasons. Right. It was so many years into the development time. They were working. They didn't start a new engine like 343. They didn't do none of that. Like for the most part, we've seen nothing but positivity on Halo. Every time it's come up, we've seen good stuff.
Hold on, Eric Jackson in the chat. Hold on. Not concerned about the game because it's not on me to be so. It's on Microsoft and 343 need to be concerned that their game impresses me as a consumer because there's plenty of other games out there. So he's kind of going to Solve's point, which is there's a lot of pressure on this Halo. It's a launch title for Scarlet. There's a lot riding on this Halo.
The time that you would be worried is that they show you solid gameplay and it's not looking good.
Okay.
Like that's when you should be worried. When you have actual physical proof that there's something wrong. Not just someone got demoted and they quit. How many of you guys? Let's be real here. How many people in this chat and in this Google Hangout, if you got demoted tomorrow, you would be okay. You would probably
that's the other point too. I think you agree. The fact that he had the job for a couple of weeks, was like if I got demoted, like seriously demoted for something I did wrong, I'm not staying. I'm out. Like bye.
No, I think Attic got the bars on this, but Attic sold me just now. I'm like, you know what? He may be on to something.
Because he got demoted and he was bitter about it. Like, I don't know why he got demoted.
Why he gotta be bitter? Why he gotta be bitter?
Because he got demoted. Ain't nobody want to get demoted. Like.
Well, shout out to No Russian in the chat. He says, because this game, and you said yourself, Attic.
King, I need you back in here. The first off, these people are talking nonsense, and second off, they seen color in that chat. They saying everything in that chat.
Like 9 months out. It is the 11th hour. Just shout out to No Russian. It's 9 months out.
Ooh, it's 9 months out. It's not like there's 5 or 6 people leaving. It's one incident in the entire development cycle.
It's the dude that's in charge of the entire vision of the
That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing.
You're the one that said you're walking away from Halo if the story sucks. You're the one that said that.
Look, get him, Saul. Get him, Saul. This is a good one, man.
Look,
to be honest,
it's 9 months out. The foundation for the game's been built. He leaving's not going to devastate this game.
We agree with that. That it's folded. Whether he's on now or not,
him leaving. Whatever. Look, if the game is trash, he was responsible regardless if he's there or not, because he was there. He built the foundation. He built the foundation the game's upon. Now, I would say you would want to blame Bonnie Ross too because she was over him. But at the same time, look, if this game's going to be good or if this game's going to be bad, him leaving has nothing to do with it right now.
Hold on.
Because the game's already built.
Hold on. I can't do the Jamaican accent. Whatever. Rap in the chat. $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. It's eye-opening because the creative director left and an executive producer left less than a year before the game has to go gold. Is the game doomed? No. But best believe that 343 is gonna crunch. Oh, crunch. Ooh. Is that what's going on here, man?
Well, at the end of the day, this dude leaving isn't going to impact the final product. Sure, it might be a reason these people are leaving, but we don't know. Like, when we get that final product, if it's a 69, there's probably a reason he got demoted, and they probably just flushed the entire company down the drain.
So your whole mantra is let's wait, let's see gameplay. That's
like if we saw gameplay like the Crackdown scenario, everyone knew that game was going to be a dumpster fire.
Right.
Because we had plenty of proof to say that it was a dumpster fire. Yeah. But one person getting demoted and leaving a company is not enough to validate that this game gonna be spooky, man. I don't know what's going on. Look, like, it's concerning, but it's not enough concern to be like, there's something really wrong. Like, it would have been different if, like, this dude left and this dude got poached and this dude's doing this and this dude's with this person but it's not that. Someone got demoted and they quit. And I guarantee you, if you look at people in that kind of position throughout every industry and they get demoted, a lot of them probably leave very shortly after getting demoted.
real quick, JD Gamer again. Thank you, brother, to follow our super chat. They have over 12 months to fix it. It will be fine as long as the game goes gold by September 20th, 2020. It will be fine. 3 months
it's not
gold.
12 months. Like they have realistically they got like 9 to 10 months, and that's pushing it. I would say 8 to 9 months because the last couple months is literally strictly just going to just fixing bugs, playing, getting the game played over and over again to make sure it doesn't crash. They got the certification process.
Hold on, yo, Slow is coming at you crazy. He said, Attic, the kind of dude who sees smoke in the house and says, "Do you see a fire yet? Do you see?" Yo, that was a guest clap. I ain't gonna
choking on the smoke.
I mean, it is what it is, Slow-Mo. It is what it is. You can go at me all you want. You can make fun of me all you want. That's bouncing right off,
and we will.
We have.
I mean, it is.
Good.
Wait, did y'all read the JD Gamer one? They have over 12 months to fix it. Y'all read that
we
one?
got that, but get JD. Get JD right now. Get JD.
Oh, wait, JD or Jonathan B?
I got Jonathan B. Y'all really letting Attic shut y'all down? He coming with the bars on Lord's Day. The whole panel got a little silent when he raised his voice. Hey, you know what? I think you're on something. Okay?
Yo, Attic is spitting ball. Listen, I'm the one. I'm a skeptical person. You know what I'm saying? When I see things and I'm just like, how does it feel? What's the perception, right? What's the optics? Does it feel right with Halo Infinite close to launch, right? But then as you read more and you look into it, and then they say they seem like they already had a replacement in pocket, right? So again, back to my selfish point, I don't like Halo 5's campaign. If he's responsible, Bushes, I don't want him part of it. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is, to Addict's point, we do need to see the game. When we see the reveal, if we start to see that quality degradation and we're just like, ooh, what's going on here?
It's like, I'm more concerned.
I do get this. So I'm in the middle, y'all. It's like, I'm in the middle.
I'm more concerned at the direction of Halo's going. Mm-hmm. And, this dude might have been responsible for that. Like, I got to see more. Like, all we've really seen is it looks like 2 minutes of the beginning of the very beginning of the game. And we've seen an in-game engine showing off the game, like what the game could possibly look like. Like until I see more, like, and it's kind of bad. It kind of looks bad on them because it's been how long? We've this game's been announced for how long? We still ain't seen a lot.
Here's the thing, Addict, though, and this Eric's on fire right now. This is what I'm talking. Like he said, tell y'all what though, if Halo Infinite isn't popping, y'all gonna get all the smoke, and then that's when the people that
there's no smoke to give out.
But listen. If Halo 5 is not popping and narratively is trash, then the people who were concerned will be justified to come at y'all to be like, "Yo, this is why we was upset." Like, what's wrong?
But see that? But I'm calling bullshit on that too because I'm not saying
Halo was always narratively
I'm not
trash.
Saying that you can't come. I'm not saying that you can't come at people for saying that. I'm saying that we need more than just this to come at stuff. Now, if they announce some stuff,
let's all get off.
I go back to my overall point. Regardless of whether this is justified or not, or worrying or not worrying about it, the fact of the matter is that the game has more riding on it than just Halo. It has the launch of the entire next generation riding on its shoulders. And even if the game is hot, but for whatever reason, this change in management makes the game be delayed, I think a delay even hurts them. A delay even hurts them because they already came out and said this is launching with the next system.
Hold on a second. My boy Philly in the chat, he said, y'all hypocrites. If y'all show something too early, y'all. If y'all show something too late, y'all. What's the sweet spot? Listen.
I tell you one thing. 4 years early is not a good idea. Last of Us.
Wow. Disrespect.
I mean, look, like, is it concerning? Yes, but I don't think it's like I don't think there's hellfire raining down. Let me go look outside to make sure.
Nobody's saying that, but you're acting like you're just saying that it's nothing.
And I'm not saying it's nothing. I'm saying from one incident, you can't deem the entire project as, oh, dude, I don't know about this, because that's what you acting like.
Stop putting words in your mouth, because that is not what.
That is not putting words. That's your exact.
No, he didn't say that though, Attic. He didn't say that.
I'm playing devil.
You said this game has everything riding on it, and this makes it worse.
It does.
How is this part make it worse? Like, It makes it worse. It might make it a little concerning. Why did he leave? But like I said, at the end of the day, when you ask that, okay, why'd he leave? You don't know. There could be multiple. If this dude just left,
let's finish.
In definitives, always. You speak in black or white. I never said anything black or white. I said it's spooky, and why it's spooky. And it's spooky because, again, it's not just a regular Halo game. It is a reboot, essentially a spiritual reboot of the entire Halo franchise. The future of the Halo franchise is riding on it, in addition to the success of the Scarlet platform. You understand? It's just reason to look at it with a side eye. I'm not saying that it's gloom and doom and it's all over. Right. But again, even if this change means that the game, for whatever reason, gets delayed, I think it's a bad look.
Right.
It's a bad look because they already promised.
So again, I hear where you're coming with, Saul. I hear where you're coming with. And the thing is, we're going to wait and see. But I will say, for the people who feel right now that this is not a concern, right, that this is not a big deal, that this happens a lot, and I understand the sentiment. All I'm saying is, if it does prove that Halo Infinite is spooky narratively or a launch, this will be used against y'all. And then people will say, you can't get mad at us for being skeptical. That's all.
People can come at me on Twitter. They can get that block and mute button. At the end of the day, it's like, look, I don't see it's concerning. If you want to come at me a year from now because I made an opinion off the facts and the information in front of me, I'm gonna block and mute your ass because you aren't even taking the consideration that from what we have now, me personally, that's not your opinion, that's my opinion. And if you want to harass me on Twitter for my opinion, you will get muted. There's no way around that. So I want to warn people, you will get muted.
We missed the super chat. Yeah, we missed the super chat. Shout out to Rap with a $5 super chat. In fairness, this is under the microscope because how bad Microsoft first party has been this generation. Very true. You're definitely onto something, Brad.
Anyway, we were beating this Halo thing to death. We gotta move on.
The addict is Pusha T.
You guys are driving me to drink.
Oh, he got Anchorman going crazy. But look, in the vein of departures, got to keep the theme consistent, man. Yeah, we got some news out of Bioware, man. We got two big announcements. One actually just recently, you know what I'm saying, with Dragon's Age 4. And again, this is a lead producer, Fernando Mello, you know what I'm saying, acted as a senior producer for Dragon's Age Origin and Dragon's Age 2, is leaving, man. He is moving on. He's not going to be part of the new Dragon Age experience. And then prior to that, Anthem was hit again, man. Ben Irving, another lead producer. He was part of the team that was left. I know a lot of them went over to Dragon's Age, like Mark Darr and them guys. But Ben Irving, he was still there, you know, holding the fort down. And he's now leaving. He's moving on. Looks like he said he's going to another studio, but the game still has a bright future. You know, a lot of people took in.
Watch him show up at Initiative.
Exactly, it's this and that. But I want to bring this to the Lords, man, and start off with Anchor, man. Like, you know,
we have a super chat.
Okay, get the super chat.
So we got the $5 super chat. Oh no, there's another one, but let me get to you first here in a minute. From Shroom Kingdom, I probably butchered your name. I apologize. The creative director is out because Microsoft wants to bring back Spartan Law. All right, man.
Good.
Like, if you wouldn't have dedicated $5, we appreciate the support. I might have muted you.
Do it. Mike Coulter needs a job. He's not Luke Cage anymore.
Oh,
he do need a job. Got another $5 super chat from Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. We can bet that Halo Infinite will work at launch, unlike Fallout. How do you feel about that, Anchorman? I'm waiting, Anchorman. How you feel about that?
I don't need to address that.
You don't need to address that. Okay, got you. Continue, LordCognito.
No doubt. Yeah, man. I mean, look. So we got these two major lead producer kind of departures, kind of in succession. You know what I'm saying? One with Anthem, you know, and then obviously Dragon's Age, which was the latest one. So I just want to bring this to the Lords, man. Like, how are we feeling about Bioware right now? Are we fear-mongering? Is this nothing to be concerned about?
To be honest with you, after Anthem, I think Bioware in general needs to just be thrown in the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
So is this spooky?
Is this spooky? Wait, let's give it to Attic. Is this spooky, Attic? That
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. You know, unlike Halo Infinite, I've seen Anthem. It exists. I swear it. Unlike Halo Infinite, we've played Anthem. I've seen it. We've played it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I would say it's looking spooky.
Anchor, what do you think, man? Yo, lead producer for Dragon's Age now leaves, and then Bioware, you know, with Anthem in its current state, you know, leaving. Like, where are you at with both of these departures?
I seem to recall that a couple months ago they were talking about ever since Anthem kind of bombed, which is kind of sad because
I don't even think bomb is the correct term for this game. I think the only other game that has bombed more is Fallout 76.
Man, no. Mass Effect Andromeda, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I seem to recall that.
I think this is worse. I think this is worse than Mass Effect Andromeda.
People weren't coming at Fallout 76 for character animations. People were making memes off of Fallout 76.
They came out Fallout 76 ruined the whole company.
Nah, the
Fallout 76 made it to where
Bethesda's still around.
Fallout 76 made it to where Bethesda had to go on their E3 stage and personally apologize for the game. Okay.
Hey, at least they apologized.
Hey, good. What's your feeling on this situation, man? With both of these departures, where are you at? Is BioWare in trouble as we know it?
I would definitely say so. Namely because ever since Anthem came out, like they said they were restructuring how Dragon Age was going to be approached. They kept saying that everything's changing because they've released 2 games now. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you say, oh yeah, it was a Montreal team or not, it's 2 games under the BioWare name that have bombed in a row. Mm-hmm. Mass Effect Andromeda, which came out 2 years ago, and then you have Anthem, which came out. Mm-hmm. And so now it's just, what do you do? Right. Like things are definitely going to be restructuring there. I don't know what else to tell you about it. It's just there's not much else to say.
Right. So do you think it's a situation? Let's break it down individually. With Anthem, you know, a lot of people have called out BioWare and said, look, you know, you guys are leaving this game for dead. A lot of the bigger higher-ups have gone over to Dragon's Age 4. Shout out to Slow Mo, who's literally just saying what I'm about to say. Mark Dara, who took over for Ben Irving on Anthem, got the game released, is still in charge of Dragon Age 4, and Mark Dara was involved in all the previous Dragon Age games. So a lot of them have moved on to Dragon's Age, in Anthem's case, right? But Ben Irving was there, and then I guess the live team. So with him moving off of Anthem, let's start with Anthem first. Do you think Anthem, this is kind of like a death knell for them, that they're moving away from supporting it?
I am not sure about it, what it means for Anthem necessarily. Right. I mean, because it's a producer.
Right.
But for future games, I think it's definitely a big sign.
Okay, and then with Dragon's Age specifically, you know, again, another producer, are you not as concerned because, you know, there's still...
I'm more concerned. More concerned.
Oh, okay. Break it down.
Because with Dragon's Age, that game, there's so much uncertainty about that. Mm-hmm. About whether or not what it's going to even look like is the biggest concern. Like, people talked about how, Dragon Age Inquisition came out and that was good, but it did not sell well.
Like, it one game of the year,
that was more of a capitulation.
What did it sell?
Yeah, we got to look at the numbers. I thought it did well. I'm not sure. I thought it did well.
Because I remember before the Game of the Year announcement, before that, they were announcing it was terrible sales. I remember before, because I remember we were in a party chat right before the event with with everyone but Sav. We were talking about that. What was it? It was
I think that Fallout 76 done something to your brain.
This was years ago, though. Let me see.
Well, they said,
I remember the article. I remember article came out.
We're gonna get them numbers, man.
I remember an article came out back then, and they said it was performing well under expectations. Mm-hmm.
That's because it's EA.
Well, it could be EA. You know how EA is, though. As far as
EA's like
Anthem is number 4 at MPD from year to date, and they like, it didn't meet expectations.
All right, so there was an earnings call in 2015 that said that Inquisition was the most successful launch in BioWare's history, right?
Right.
Okay. Now the funny thing is that when they talk about the numbers, they pulled a Microsoft and they started changing how they address this stuff. And they didn't talk about sales numbers. They talked about number of hours spent in the game.
Yeah.
They said
they
150
went
million
the
hours.
engagement route.
The engagement route. Yeah.
How many inquisitors questioned?
Exactly. How many questions were asked?
How many questions? Stupid. Shout out to Philly Eagle with the $5 super chat. Since I always come through as probably the biggest Bioware supporter, I concede. Wow, that Bioware's in trouble if they don't overhaul. Wait, hold on. We gotta stop because shout out to my man Philly Eagle. He is the biggest Anthem fan. He's the biggest Bio. For him to say this, gotta
Look,
respect.
man,
You on to something.
all I know is from day one I was saying
brother.
it's not looking good over there in Bioware in Anthem land. And when Anthem came out, people attacked me hardcore. But now ain't none of you playing Anthem.
But you know what? I mean,
Because we're all playing Fallout 76.
Oh my,
Oh my god.
See, this is why we don't bring
Philly's
Anchor back. Damn it,
everything
Anchor.
goes back to Fallout.
You always got to
back
bring Fallout in here.
Well, I mean, to Philly's point, and that goes into what I was going to say about this. If they don't overhaul, they're done. And I think, as spooky as this looks, the fact that Cataclysm dropped, didn't do well, creative director walks away.
Crazy?
Right.
Shout out to Iron Cataclysm was kind of high. That's the crazy thing.
Some people think it's all right. Some people think that for how long they had to wait for it, it wasn't enough.
You're right. Yeah.
And, you know, so it's up in the air. Some people like it, some people don't. As long as they're getting content, I guess some people will be happy. But I think the fact that they looked at Dragon Age, whatever Dragon Age was turning into, and they decided there was a move made now, as it's spooky because that tells you that this is Bioware's last shot. What I do like about it is that they did it early.
Yeah.
You know, because that game's a next gen game. Regardless of what, that game is a 2022 game, probably.
Yeah. Look, man, let me jump in. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Unless you're not finished.
No, that's it. I think I'm glad they did it early. It's spooky that they needed to address that this early because it means that it really is sort of their last hurrah. Like if they don't get this right.
Yeah, listen, man. I wish King was here because it's a song. It's a DMX song. But that song you made up where he goes, "Here we go again." Remember that joint? Like, it's just, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is sad for me, bro, because it's like Bioware, man. This is Bioware, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a beloved studio.
I don't think you can keep saying that over and over again these days.
This is how things are going. Like, it is. The people you latched onto when you were younger,
it's not the same.
People change.
Yeah, it's not the same.
People become has-beens.
Oh no, you gonna stop.
They may have made new games, but that's it.
Shenmue slander.
I mean, to be honest, LordCognito, I don't like being on the left side of the ship with Anchorman, but I got to sit over there with them right now.
See, y'all young boys,
we got 2 games back to back.
Sometimes the magic is lost.
Listen, man, we're not going to do this.
We got people that
15 years since your last game.
We got people that can't even make an 80s Metacritic game now.
Listen,
we got a Microsoft studio that deserves to be a Microsoft right now.
Listen, man, we ain't gonna do it. Here's the deal. All right. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying, it could be just a situation where it's just not the same people anymore. People move on. Studios change. You know what I'm saying? In Bioware's case, it's just like it's sad because we know what they were. They were the top 3, you know, of everybody's development list. You know, Mass Effect, the Dragon Age series, everything.
It is kind of crazy how it went down.
Like they were them dudes, right? So I guess, you know, again, another part of it is what I'm hearing with Anthem specifically. You know, shout out to Paul Tassi, me and Bonds. We had him on the last word. Please check that out. This last one, even if you don't like Destiny, please check it out. It was a fantastic episode. But he mentioned how like the Cataclysm is so good. Low key, he's saying Anthem is better than Vision 2 right now, and that's one of his hottest takes right now. That a lot of people, some people are actually riding with him. A lot of Anthem fans. Shout out to Kai Batsu. People saying, "Yo, it's really good." So the question with Irving. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to act like he was a saint now in all the decisions because he made some RNG decisions that pissed the community off on some levels and things like that. But, you know, in terms of Bioware, it's just, I am very concerned. I'm very concerned. You know what I'm saying? We got to see where this thing's going to go with Dragon's Age. Like Sav said, everything's riding on Dragon's Age. Everything.
You know what?
Like, put it this way. If Dragon Age flop, that will be Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem. Now, Anthem, yes, MPD is up there, but as far as engagement, we know it ain't where it was. You know what I'm saying?
They might see that as a W just because of the sales, but I don't think EA sees the game as a whole as a W.
Those games are not built on their initial sales. They are built on the returning base of people playing it and buying microtransactions.
And
you know what?
Got it. I'm at it. Go ahead.
No, just go ahead and finish your statement.
No, I agree with Anchor because I was just saying, like, even though we look at it and we say, yo, Anthem #4 NPD, right? For 2019. EA's had other expectations for where this thing was supposed to be. They are not expecting this player count to be where it is. They're expecting this thing to continue to go. So my thing is, you know, I just want Dragon Age needs to win, bro.
And the thing about it is,
bro.
The thing about it is that Anthem's win is based on like Anchor said. This is a game that's focused on like it's the combat, raid, whatever that stuff. That stuff needs to be there for that community to stay there.
Right.
I
get that.
For me, if and I think in general for a Bioware fan, if that story stuff is not where it needs to be. Dragon.
Because that's the essence,
That's the essence. That's what people go to BioWare for.
Right.
The dialogue, the choices, the story.
And that's why Anthem also struggled because people thought they were going to get classic BioWare in a Destiny format, right? And then we got limited choices. We didn't really get that kind of engagement. So Dragon's Age is like the last hurrah. But I will say this, like, if Dragon's Age flop, bro, I think EA... They gonna snap them out of existence, bro.
I kind of think that there's an entity that's going on that no one's really thinking about.
Talk to me.
Bethesda.
See?
Bring them into the fold.
Sometimes you need a variable to happen to show that you're doing things wrong. Obviously they've had countless failures over and over again. I do think EA had a lot to do with a lot of this breaching. Now I think BioWare is responsible too. People always try to blame the publisher when sometimes it's the developer just as much. But I think a lot of it has to do with not necessarily how BioWare's ran as a company, but the direction that EA makes them run as a company.
Right.
So I think that people aren't really they're starting to give Respawn more, creative control. Maybe if the last Jedi, what is it called?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. Maybe if that comes out and it's like a crazy hit, makes all kinds of money. Maybe that was seems like okay, we got multiplayer games that we can make money off of, but these people like BioWare, your Respawns, we gotta let them do what they want to do. But BioWare if it wasn't BioWare, it would have been shut down 2 games ago. Because they have so much clout because of what they've done in the past, they're able to make another game. There's very few publishers that let them make a third game, okay? Like, it would have been like, a lot of publishers Microsoft would have shut them down over Mass Effect. Sony would have shut them down over Anthem. Like, EA, I feel like EA, they know that they can do something. Like, maybe, I don't think Dragon Age flops. Like, they have a good formula there, unless they do something crazy different. I don't think that can flop. Like, in Dragon Age, they haven't really made a bad Dragon Age game. The people, people didn't really like a lot of the directions.
Hold on one sec, Soft. Didn't we hear, Soft Angler, remember we heard early Dragon Age talk about Destiny with dragons? Didn't we hear some creative vision for the new anchor that they're trying to include other features that really weren't part of it?
I think people were fearful of that after it felt like they were all in on the Anthem type of game, and they had to come out and sort of reiterate, be like, no, it's a Dragon Age game. So they had to say like there aren't going to be loot boxes in this thing. It's going to be an art. So they had to come out and just sort of defend what a Dragon Age game is, just so people wouldn't discount the game right from the jump once they announced it. So that's what they did.
And Slow Mo said, if I'm BioWare, I'm looking at EA's different treatment of Respawn and be like, why TF are they being treated different? Apex Legends using the Titanfall engine and Fallen Order is using Unreal. I think that Respawn went in there, and when they were getting bargaining with their company, they had a lot more to go off of than BioWare does.
I feel
when you come in off of 2 failed games, you can't really negotiate.
And that's the thing, though, because you look at the development of Andromeda, right? Andromeda, regardless of EA's meddling, whatever was going on internally in terms of the studio that made that game not be great. The fact of the matter is that they were still making a Mass Effect game. They still had the choices. It just the game wasn't nearly as good as the three previous games.
And that engine, though, that engine,
right? The engine busted it up, but they were allowed to make a Mass Effect game. It wasn't like they tried to change that formula.
No, true. But to Addict's point is that Respawn, I feel, had a little bit more capital coming in with the Titanfall franchise, right?
Yep.
And
they had the critical success of 2 games.
Exactly.
Well, sorry, right.
I mean, let's be real here.
One critical success.
I think
Apex.
I think Respawn probably. I don't know, the individual people, but I think they communicate with EA better. I think they, for the most part, it looks like. I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm not behind closed doors, but to me, it seems like because Respawn gets what they want. Maybe it's just, it really is a Bioware issue. Maybe Respawn just knows how to present their project better to make EA want it.
Also, in defense of Jason Schreier, when somebody was snitching at Bioware, saying what was going on and how flying was so last minute, meetings were like, it was a mess with Bioware. Like, it wasn't EA as far as when they broke down Anthem's development. I was shocked to see how many poor decisions and how many lack of planning and very laissez-faire, very lax. Oh, we'll get to it, and no resolution at the end of meetings. It was really spooky coming from Bioware. And then I'll give it to you real quick. Philly Eagle $5 super chat. If No Man's Sky can come back, any game can come back. But
that is true. That is facts.
That is
true. I think if Respawn, I know we're going away from Bioware for a brief second. I think if Respawn makes this game, that they're not only one of EA's best studio, if they're best studio, I think they're one of the best developers in the industry right now. Like Bioware went from probably one of the GOATs, like one of the top ever, to I know Cognito's gonna really hate this analogy. He went to like an Anderson Silva, he's still good. No, I would say Anderson. I would say the comparison on UFC, Anderson Silva is still better than Bioware is before they were. Because Bioware they're just not making good games anymore. You could blame EA. You could blame. I think the core example. I think where it needs to be looked at is the head of Bioware. They're the ones dropping the ball. I think EA's influences have something to do with it, but I would say it's like 80-20. 80% Bioware's fault, 20% EA's fault. I think it's a lot of EA's fault for not mandating and making sure Bioware's management's doing stuff they need to be doing.
It's tough, man. It's a tough scenario, man. Wow. Just, the news keeps piling on. We got to move on because we got a couple more topics. But, yeah, man. Soft. Oh, hold on real quick. Well, last one on this. This is funny. Slow-mo, he said, and the dude who was running that BS show on Anthem is now going over to Dragon's Age, meeting Ben Irving. Wow, really slow. That's what we doing, slow. He said, I'm just saying, Ben Irving is leaving is an addition by subtraction. Wow. Moving on. Lord Solve, there is a lot of talk in these streets about Microsoft. Well, are they going third party? What's going on, man? What's happening?
So recently, head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty had an interview. Booty time. He had an interview.
We don't have to go down like this. You know that, right? You don't have to emphasize booty every time you say it.
Did Phil give him the booty call at 2 a.m.?
Oh my god.
So my bad. Yeah, Ben Irving left Bioware. He's not on Dragon's Age. You correct, sir. I am correct. You are correct. Continue.
So Matt Booty had an interview with Game Informer magazine where they talked about what's coming up in terms of Game Pass, the future of Scarlet. They talked a little bit about Halo Infinite, and just basically kind of gave a little bit of a roadmap of what's going to go on with the Xbox platform and ecosystem. So one thing that came up that had Twitter and the internet giving the side eye is when they spoke about specific games that are appearing on other platforms. They spoke about Cuphead on Switch and Minecraft, obviously, and they talked about how Microsoft's new sort of vision for the future, where not that they're going to be platform agnostic, but they're more willing to see their ecosystem is just that, an ecosystem, not necessarily tied 100% to a specific platform. So they asked, what other games could you expect, or if any, to see from Microsoft, from Xbox Studios on other platforms? So obviously this started a conversation that Microsoft is opening up to having all of their games on other platforms, and that this is the beginnings of them trying to slip in talk of essentially not caring about platform and maybe having all of their franchises on PlayStation, on Nintendo, on PC. And obviously there was a lot of heated discussion around this. So I want to know what you guys think about this. He spoke about, like I said, he spoke about Cuphead. He spoke about Minecraft and how that was, that was a no-brainer because that was already on other platforms, and it just makes sense for what they wanted to do with Minecraft. They didn't want to remove anybody's ability to play that game. But again, they're doing it with Minecraft Dungeons, which they didn't have to do. Once again, it's going to be on every platform imaginable. And so he sort of left the door open for anything's possible. Not necessarily our big tentpole games. When you talk about, the Big Mac fries and the Coke, that's not happening. At least for now, is the way he sort of phrased that. So, what do you guys think about this? Is this fear mongering? Is this them trying to start that conversation so we're not totally surprised in a couple of years when it happens? What do you guys?
Lord, go for it, man. I see you chopping. Then we get Anchor.
Someone skip me. Someone just walked in my room. Go ahead and
a couple things.
Are people overreacting?
Well, a couple things to bring up. So, looking at Cuphead and Minecraft, Cuphead, they say it's a Microsoft game. I don't think that was part of the deal, and I think they're trying to play that out as best they can.
They finesse it.
They're trying to be like, oh yeah, we're orchestrating who's getting on what, but really the deal is just not allowed to go to PlayStation. It's just so they're just letting everybody else kind of fly. But Minecraft, that's again another weird scenario because as Saab already brought up, that thing already came out on PlayStation before Microsoft bought Minecraft. So they were in a position where they couldn't really just drop support.
Without looking really
looking like a dick, or like that is a situation. Other than that, with their options, I mean, you have to keep in mind what Matt Booty's job is.
Yes, let's go. Let's break it down.
Matt Booty, his job is to sell the games.
Right.
His job is not to sell the platform. That's not his job.
Talk about it.
And if you keep teasing people that this could come, it makes sure you don't lock it out of your mind. And so, like, for example, I'm gonna switch to something else. I'm not sure it's the best example, but like when LeBron was looking at re-signing, whether or not he was going to stay with the Cavs or go to LA or wherever else, he never said, "I'm not going to this place."
Right.
He never said that. Right. But as soon as it was heard that he was up for discussion, everybody wanted him. Right. And so, but the thing is, also fans who hated LeBron because he was not on their team suddenly were like, "Oh wait, can LeBron come here? Can he come to the Pelicans? Can he come to the Clippers?" And everybody suddenly wants him because of that. It's the same mindset when it comes to games too. If you tease them and don't say it's never coming out here, because that's one of the problems that happens when you have like Sony games or Nintendo games or stuff like that, where people know it's never coming to their platform of choice or whatever else. They say, F that game, I'm not paying attention, it's trash, it's in the bushes, never thinking about it again. But if you tease them, and you're like, it could come, maybe, sometime.
But let me ask you this, Anchor, and this is the point of contention on social media. The fact that the mission statement was initially, Xbox doesn't have games, we have to address this, we're getting these studios, right? That was the mission statement to address the Achilles heel in the room, so to speak. So now that they have these studios, right, when you hear talk of, well, maybe these games can come out on other platforms, does that concern you? Because the talk from some is, well, what's the point of having these studios if you just gonna put them games on everybody else's platform?
Exactly.
What do you
Whether
say?
it be a AAA studio or not, like
Right.
why not?
What
Why
say
not?
you, Anchor, to that?
To
Let me get
me,
Anchor on this. I want Anchor first.
to me, I don't care because I'm not into that game.
Yeah.
To me, I don't care.
Right.
I'm retired.
No. So to you, it's a non-issue then. It's a non-issue for you.
To me, I don't care.
Okay.
But again, people have to look at it from a business perspective. If you burn your bridges, you're done. People don't care anymore. This is why these changes and these studio changes suddenly mean something. Like Tim Schafer being bought for Microsoft when he had been talking so much shit ever since the beginning of this generation. He'd been talking so much junk to see, oh wait, never mind, the money's here, never mind.
So question about that, because that's one thing that we never really got clarity on. Is Psychonauts 2 officially just a Microsoft exclusive, or is that
no? It's the Psychonauts 2 is still coming out to every platform because it was already promised everywhere. Just future stuff. So that's a thing, because they showed they announced Psychonauts 2 on Sony stage. They're not pulling that back. So,
I think.
Okay, let's get at it. Alex ready. He's chomping. Let's go.
I think that they are trying to do what they did with the with Xbox Live and going to the digital era where everyone's online. Like, they're trying to anticipate a market that might be there, might not necessarily be there. Now, if you went before Xbox Live blew up and forced Sony to really adapt to an online community, and you went before all that happened and said, yo, everyone's going to be playing in parties, you're going to be playing Call of Duty, would you have thought that? No. I mean, do I think this is a mistake? I think they're investing too much into this that might not necessarily happen. Because what they want is, they think streaming, they want to anticipate the streaming market. That's what they're doing. Like, they're trying to get themselves to where it's all about an app and not a console. I think that's going to happen, just not anytime soon. But, if it's one of those things where it's like, I'm like a 50-50. Like, I feel like they're really risking a lot. Like, this is one of those things where if this doesn't pell out, they might sell the Xbox brand.
Whoa.
Like, because I mean, they are. They're putting a lot. They're putting a lot behind this. Like, they are. Like, if it doesn't work out, I don't think it is, because I think Game Pass is going to help them tremendously. Game Pass, I think, eventually is going to be turned in to that Xbox app. But at the end of the day, it's like, if they it's like 2013. People thought that was the wrong direction. What ended up happening? We have all these online connected games. It literally, what they said happened 5 years later.
Let me ask you this, Attica. You got me thinking. What about the counterpoint, which is PlayStation does not operate this way. PlayStation, when Sony has their exclusive, there's never an executive coming out and saying, well, at some point, we may consider, Death Stranding or another platform, or we may consider God of War, if it makes sense. Like, we don't hear the other thing. Now, what is your answer to their way of thinking and handling the video games business and exclusivity as opposed to Microsoft? Or is it just something that you just think that Sony, their business is so riding on the game industry, that's why?
I think that's what it is. I think that they have that one mindset right now. I mean, I know their movie division's doing good, but like, besides that, is Sony really bringing revenue with any other division besides the gaming division? So Microsoft's got their hands in so many cookie jars, and some they throw the cookie away, like the mobile division.
I think Sony's perceived strength comes from them being the antithesis to Microsoft, like them being the opposite of what Microsoft is doing.
Right.
This is the thing I'm looking at, as I'm saying. If you want an idea of what I'm talking about, where if you burn your bridges, you turn people off from ever being customers to you, go look at the worst people in our community. If you go look at the worst Xbox people, they say, screw every Sony game.
Right.
Because they know it's not coming.
Right.
They can't be excited for it.
Right.
Because they know they're never going to get to play it. So their mind mentally shuts it off, says, I don't care.
Right.
But so whenever situations do happen where a PlayStation game that was thought to be exclusive does come to Xbox or something else, they don't buy it. They don't want it because they're done. They're mentally turned off. Perfect example: The Witness by Jonathan Blow. he came out beginning of the generation, talked a bunch of crap. Then, then Witness comes to Xbox 3 years later. No one wants it, because you turn people off from it. But on the flip side, look at the worst Sony people. Anytime there's a new game that comes out for PlayStation, they rub it in their face. The Xbox guys, you're never going to be able to play this. But when a new game comes out to Xbox they want, then the question becomes, when's it coming to PlayStation?
Right.
When do I get to play?
I get that.
I think at the end of the day, Microsoft, they're anticipating, when it comes to these multi-billion-dollar corporations, like, they're not looking at the now. Like, they're looking at, like, 10 years from now. That's one of the reasons that I think that the Xbox brand is where it is because there was a time where they didn't know what they were doing with Xbox. Right. They didn't know what to invest in. They didn't know where to do it. And Phil Spencer put Game Pass in the scenario. I don't know who started that. I don't know who gave the idea. But I think they're like, all right, now we know what we want with the Xbox brand. We want to revolve it around Game Pass. Right. And I think Game Pass solely saved the entire brand.
Well, I mean, you're making a good point from the sense, Attic, that that was the pitch to Satya from Phil, right? Because we know, I'm not going to try to disrespect Satya, but it's like video games is not his forte. They were, during the Terry Myerson thing, they were still floundering as far as how much the Xbox brand means to the overall picture, right? Phil gets the position and then is selling them also on the Game Pass services and stuff like that. And basically, I want to shout out the Xbox too, because they had a good discussion on this recently. Basically, Phil's pitch was, are we in on video games or are we not? If we're in on video games, we got to go all in on video games. Thus, he got the promotion, and thus we're seeing what's happening now with the commitment to the studios and more of a serious push. But prior to that, it was not. They were still, so Satya's whole thing is he's got to speak to the, let me get into my point. He's got to speak to the stockholders, right? He's got to speak to the share. Like, is it valuable for them to consider Microsoft, Xbox, investing on that level? So Phil kind of has this tough line he has to walk. My thing is this. When I hear Booty's comments, right, I'm with Sav. I listen to what someone's telling me. When someone's telling me, well, it may be, it depends, it's a case by case, that's how I'm looking at it. I think they are looking at it not like the typical acquisition thing, where when you acquire a studio, it's yours, it's only on your platform, that's it. They're looking at it like, yo, if it makes sense, like a Cuphead or whatever, it look be good on Switch, and Minecraft, it's so big, you see it's on Sony's platform. I believe it was like number 2, number 3 on MPD for Sony just recently, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to do it, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I think mentally, if you're a hardcore Xbox guy, you better prepare yourself. That's just what to me, they are telling us what could happen. Now, again, this is the question, and this is what I'm going to bring to Addict and Anchor. Games like a Hellblade 2. Remember, Hellblade started initially Sony, right?
Yep.
Boom. Now we know eventually it will come. Those games, to me, are candidates for this strategy. Well, we don't want to, we could make some more money, with it being over there, the PlayStation base. Same thing with Outer Wilds. Obsidian already announced the Switch version, right? Right. PlayStation's getting it, but we knew that was before the deal. So a lot of Xbox guys let that slide. Yo, that's before the deal, right? But again, if it blows up on those platforms, you meaning to tell me that Microsoft is going to say, no, let's keep it exclusive.
It's like I said.
Prepare yourself. I'm just telling you.
That's one of the things that I keep telling people. It's like, look, it's why I said that they're putting a lot of what's what I'm looking for, faith into this strategy.
Right.
Because if it doesn't work out, they devalued their brand. Now it's not Xbox got these games out. It's you could play it everywhere. Why do I need a console? And then before you know it, that because of the direction they went, and if it didn't work out, then before you know it, they're getting out of the console business because they devalued the console so much that no one wants to buy it.
But
you can buy most of their games on the Switch. You can buy their games on the PC.
I feel you. But if they are continuing to be financially this is a great strategy for them financially, and they're making revenue.
Well, that's a completely different
this?
scenario. I said if it doesn't work.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So you said if it don't work, then people are gonna say.
And then how do we know that we get to the point where they start branching? Because I think Sony's the last pillar. I think Microsoft is very capable of putting their stuff on Sony's platform. I think there's a lot of variables behind that. I don't think Microsoft's ready to have that conversation entirely with everything. Maybe stuff like Cuphead, stuff like that. Which Cuphead. It's kind of weird. It's not on there already, but it's on the Switch. That's completely different.
That deal is probably anybody but Sony.
I think it's very possible that it could happen, and I think once you start seeing Microsoft games happen on the console, on the PlayStation, how do we know that they start making revenue everywhere else but the Xbox console, and then they literally become a third party and they pull out of the console business? It's very possible.
The thing is at this point, right? Down the road, this is the thing, right? I don't know if you look at the studio acquisitions and what they put together, right? The only studios that seem like they're big AAA or quadruple A studios are the Initiative, right? And the second studio coming out of Take-Two, whatever, the Fable studio, right?
Yeah.
I think Obsidian's one. I think Obsidian's a AAA studio.
No, not saying AAA. He's talking about.
I'm just thinking about the games, particularly the games that are coming out, what they're looking to make, right? So if let's say they assume that the ones that we're looking at that seem like they're big studios in line with the 343, in line with the Coalition, stuff like that, you would say is the Initiative and the Fable studio that
Playground?
The Playground, exactly. The Playground putting together. Other than that, right, everyone else, we don't know what's coming down the pipeline, but it's been assumed based on what they've made before, these aren't the hugest games.
Right.
So looking at what he's saying, the games that he's saying could possibly be on other platforms would make you think that the majority of their portfolio is open to that strategy, apart from whatever they consider to be pillars. And he mentioned Forza, he mentioned Halo, he mentioned Gears. And the only other two you could maybe add to that would be those two that I mentioned, those two big ones.
Right.
Beyond that, what bothers me a little bit is just it doesn't feel like everything that they've acquired till now, they're not considering them pillar titles. They're not considering them pillar studios, right? Kind of like these
well, I don't think they can really consider anything a pillar until they show product. Like once if you start building, because they didn't just buy the studio, they've actually put money into the studio on top of that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think before they go out and they really start bragging about these studios or having any kind of wording on them, like they got to show us some kind of quality. Like Obsidian, I think a lot of people don't really look at. They're like Outer Worlds this, Outer Worlds that's it. It's a multiplat. At the end of the day, Outer Worlds still shows the result of kind of quality that we can expect from Obsidian.
Right. And they said specifically to Outer Worlds, they said that we could see it as being fully exclusive moving forward, and that's all dependent on how well Outer Worlds does.
Right. Let me ask you this. I want to go ahead, Anka, and then I'll ask a question.
I'll say, like, if you guys pay attention to the film industry, you would know that in terms of how a lot of the stuff is budgeted and approach models are very similar to how the video game industry is nowadays. Right. But there's a mark of everything keeps moving. So there's a concept of like a tentpole movie that comes out during the summer, like a big blockbuster or whatever. Right. However, the movie industry has moved away from that.
Right.
Instead of just having one movie that makes or breaks your studio, you have multiple bigger movies that could survive. Like, for example, use Disney as an example. Right. When Dumbo came out and failed comparatively, Lion King, Avengers Endgame, and everything else was there to pick up the slack. The idea is that you can survive if one thing bombs.
No, I get the strategy. I get it. My question,
and I mean, in terms of video games, it's the same kind of thing, where, like, if you have one game and that game bombs,
right,
you're not out of business.
Right. No, Philly, it's a risky business. You're making valid points, Anka. You're on fire. I guess my point is what No Russian is saying. Shout out to No Russian and Philly Eagle. They battling in the chat right now. It's lit. If he's saying that, because that Xbox, he feels that the gaming device is being devalued. Like, what made us invest in the Xbox in the first place? If they're going to approach a strategy of, hey, these game studios that we bought, not saying every game, like Sarv is saying, like, but not Sarv is saying that, but Sarv is making a point that they're trying to say that, the Big Mac, Large Fry, Shake, Halo, Forza, Gears, that probably most likely is not. But if these new studios that people were genuinely excited about, right? People were very excited, like, yo, Xbox gonna have some exclusive. This is gonna be on their platform. People are saying, what do you say to the people that are saying, yo, that is now being devalued? What is the purpose of owning the Xbox platform? You know what I'm saying?
Game Pass.
If that's the case.
That will be.
I don't even
the
think
Game Pass is such a major part for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like their positioning and everything has pushed Game Pass to the point where that is a seller in and of itself. For example, my girlfriend has been going back and forth about what platform she wants to get, because she wants to get one now that they're cheap.
Yeah.
And what she wants to play is she wants to play Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
She wants to play Persona 5.
All right.
But she hasn't got the money for it for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like, well, I mean, they got Game Pass. And she asked me, what's Game Pass? So we go through this whole thing. I'm like, yeah, well, you pay $10 a month, or you just pay $15 and you get it on PC and you get it on Xbox and you can play online. You play all those games. You can buy Kingdom Hearts 3 and you're done. But you get a ton of other games you weren't really necessarily interested in or couldn't afford included.
Right.
I mean, went through the list of some of those games on there.
Right.
And that value alone sells the console.
Right. So is this a thing where, I'm gonna talk a little slanderous right now. Are the hardcore guys, are they going to be extinct on their way of thinking? Is it an antiquated way of thinking to be upset at Microsoft for putting these Xbox Game Studio, quote unquote, supposedly exclusive on other platforms?
Oh, everybody is. Xbox, PlayStation, every single one of these people who are still stuck in this mindset of exclusives and platform sales, in the next 5 years maybe, they're gone. They're not going to be able to make that argument anymore.
So is Saul's point right? Where are they setting us up for how inadequate they say for the next generation of how this is going to be?
People forget the first person out there talking about the future of the gen after this, of the ninth gen. The first person out there talking about putting games and other stuff on platforms was not Phil Spencer. It was Shuhei Yoshida. 2013, there was an article that came out. It was about a month before the PlayStation 4 dropped. I remember it distinctly because I was back at UNC Asheville walking back and reading the article. And they're talking about, like, I had to see the future of PlayStation being like an app where you have all your games and you just play it wherever you want. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. You already own the Xbox. We're not going to pay attention to this.
Right.
People move on.
I feel you. Shout out to JD Gamer with the $5 super chat. I think the Pillars Studios are 343, Coalition, Turn 10, Playground Studios. I don't know what 1 and 2 is, but Obsidian, or maybe he's talking about
Forza Fable.
Yeah. Obsidian, Ninja Theory, and he mentioned State of Decay, so Undead Labs, and AOE.
I want to point out that Microsoft loves changing their mind. For all I know, Outer Worlds comes out. It's like 86, 87, sells millions of copies. And then before you know it, they're like, okay, maybe our fans are right. Maybe games can sell consoles. Let's go back to the drawing board. Maybe we can do this console stuff still. It's hard to tell. Like, literally the Microsoft we're talking about right now between now and next year could change in an instant.
Hold on, Brap started trouble. Brap with the $10 super chat. Game Pass is the entry into becoming the Netflix of gaming. I ain't mad at Microsoft. When Nintendo laps you and Sony kicks your teeth in, it's time to try something that, ooh! So this is defeatist attitude, Brap? That's what we say? That's what we doing? Look, man, all I know is, like I said, to my point, I feel for Phil in the sense that he's got a tough sell because he's got a piece to the hardcore.
Most companies would have sold the brand. That happened in 2013. It's a miracle Xbox is even around because that wasn't just a small hit to the company. That was like Fallout 76 hit to Bethesda level.
Right.
Like it was big.
It's a tough one. Yeah, they are trying to rebound from one of the worst starts to a generation ever.
I think it might be the worst.
It might be. I mean, social media, they got destroyed. The messaging was bad. You know, here's how you trade used games. You know, we all know it was a disaster. So them getting off to a good start is key. But and also, it seems like the strategy has changed. It seems like the Game Pass and services, again, based on what we've been hearing, right, is the pitch to Satya to say, look, this is how much revenue, this is what we can do, we are beneficial, we are profitable. And it has shown short term to be working. We are seeing developers, you know, we'll have devs on soon or more on LP that are saying, like, yo, Game Pass is a huge success. What's that game, Anchorman, Descenders? The sales quadrupled just because it was in Game Pass and it was that front.
Yep.
The question becomes with gamers, and I challenge the chat, if Microsoft is successful doing this, right, but it means at the expense of, you know, holding on to the exclusive mantle, does that affect you with the Xbox brand? That's the internal question, I think, as a gamer, people have to see what's important to them. Because if it is, then you may say, hey, I don't need Xbox, right? I can go to PlayStation, I can go to Switch, I can go all these other places, and I can get them their games. I don't need them. Or to Anchorman's point, like he said with his girl, like, yo, this is great value, and I can stream, I can do this, I can do all these things, and I can have a box if I want. So it is interesting, man. But yeah, Shizno Elite, I'm sorry, brother. Yes, it is profitable. That we've got MPD stats. Matt Pitts could tell. I'll bring them back on the show. We've had developers, countless developers, saying as far as Xbox Game Pass, again, short term, that it is extremely profitable for them. So that is fact, sir. I hate to say that, but anyway, that's all I got. So, you got anything else on this, or Attic, anything else on it before we move on?
No, man, it's just really real quick. Like, it's just that I don't really care. I don't care where their games are at, honestly. Like, I love having a console, and I love the fact they put, you know, time and effort into making a powerful console. I love that. At the end of the day, though, if that's the industry's moving someplace else, I'm fine with it as long as the games come. But I do think, you know, for the people that care about that stuff, right? And I don't agree with that point of view, but if you do care about it and you hear this sort of stuff with them leaving the door open, I can see how you could be bothered by that.
Because chat is on fire. Super chat's on fire. You need to get them super chats off.
No doubt. Okay, so we have Philly Eagle with the $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. Bing search branding. Then search how branding works. If you're mad at Microsoft publishing their branded works, hold on, there's a lot of stuff coming through.
It's coming through, man.
In other places, that's a you problem.
Wow.
Educate yourself. Global branding is their goal, which is true. Absolutely, 100% true. And they've made it clear. It's just, it's funny when they do say maybe, maybe not. Who knows? You know, we've always gotten on them for not being clear about stuff, all right? So big shout out now also to JD Gaming with the $2 super chat. Game Pass equals more Xbox platform exclusives to sell it. True. With the additional revenue coming in from Game Pass, obviously it gives them more leverage to put more money into more studios making more games. So more games is always a plus. Right. I can't be mad at that ever. So
no doubt. And Brat with the $10 super chat. All jokes aside, if Xbox can deliver first-party AAA bangers outside of Halo and have those games on Game Pass, they could have a leg up on Sony next gen. That's going to be the key, man. That's going to be the key. It comes down to quality and the games, because you can have this great stuff, but if they're not great games, right?
It's like I said,
defeats the purpose.
Like,
Get at it.
In 5 years, you know, we could be talking about, you know, Microsoft set themselves up, like, but in 5 years we cannot be talking about Xbox at all. Like, it just depends. Like, you know, they bought companies that, you know, you don't really know what's going to happen, like Compulsion. I would put them on trying to have like a kind of a BioShock game going on, but we don't know what they can do, because at the end of the day, when they bought them, they was an individual studio, and you can't really take those games, and if you have those kind of games going into this gen with Microsoft backing them, then you could say something. But right now, you can't take their past games and act like that's what they're going to be making for Microsoft, because that's not the case. No, some of the studios that they bought was on crowdfunding, so like.
Shout out to Dizzy. Outside of Halo, like Halo isn't worth it. Value to the fan. Dizzy's on fire again.
The thing that counters Addict's point there is that they specifically said, like, we're not trying to change these studios, right?
Well, it's not that they're not trying to. I wasn't saying that. I was saying that regardless if these studios wanted to do these things and they did these games, funding and stuff was definitely going to be an issue. So you always you can have the best talent in the world. They're like, okay, that sounds cool.
Right.
But what can we realistically do with the bank account?
No doubt. And it gives them, Attic, you're on it, because it gives them that financial stability. It gives them creative control. You know what I'm saying? And hold on, shout out to the Ashton Lucas, Scumcast in the building, showing some love for my Lord. Much respect. JD Gamer, again, $5 super chat. Microsoft is doing the rope-a-dope and will come out swinging next gen.
Rope-a-dope.
Woo! It will be no holds barred.
LordCognito, you gotta have to say rope-a-dope again, man.
Microsoft doing the rope-a-dope. It will continue to come out swinging next gen. It will be a no-holds-barred AAA Game Pass live explosion of great gaming coming at Sony. Oh, get Attic. Oh, we got the ground again. We got Fonz in the building. Get that way, Attic.
Okay, so we got the $5 super chat from the Brownie Gamer. Microsoft couldn't complete this gen the traditional way, so they took another route to try and make the most profit as possible. It's business, so they had to make moves. You know what, the Grounded Gamer, you're on to something.
You might be on to something, brother. You might be on to something. But I mean, listen, if it means, this is how I look at gaming. You know, sometimes you gotta get beat up before you do something and have to change up. Because clearly,
sometimes you gotta be John Jones and get all kinds of stuff, get beat up, get thrown out, and come back.
We ain't talking about extra substances. We didn't
bring that up. But
we ain't talking about the illegal way. We talking about
you gotta step outside the line before you realize you need to be in the line.
Take that type of podcast.
With the cocoa.
We in love with the cocoa in here. We in love with the cocoa. But all jokes aside, like, I love it, to see the start of next generation, to see how, if this strategy does pay off, if, who knows? We don't know, right? We don't know. We could just talk about what we see now and what it appears to be. But the mindset is they're going to move forward. And it's going to be interesting to see if this approach does pay off and if they're competitive. And it's crazy, man. So I can't wait, man.
And I think Attic's onto something about those, because like a lot of these people, at least the developer wise, is like, yeah, a lot of them were crowdfund guys. But you know what? Maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe these crowdfunded guys, or maybe a little battered and broken, who don't know what to do anymore. Maybe they need to be adopted.
So Microsoft pulled up. That's what you said.
Otherwise, maybe they could be charging their own Kickstarter supporters for the game they already funded.
I played We Happy Few, and I gave that game like a 6 out of 10.
Right.
But, the world itself is fantastically built. I really like the story they tried to say.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, it was crowdfunded. Yeah. So, I mean, if Microsoft was back in that game and We Happy Few is the first game they made, right, we could have a completely different product, but we would never know something like that.
Yeah,
so
and last point, because I know we.
Hey, go Shenmue 3.
Yeah, shout out to JD. Oh, see, I thought we was here, brother. I thought JD Game with the $2 super chat. No one can argue that Microsoft made big money this gen. All I'm gonna say is that, again, to Addict's making a good point in the sense that a lot of these studios acquired. There's something to be said about having financial stability. It's something to said to being able to take chances with stuff that you wanted to do that you might not have had that security with Microsoft behind you. We're seeing with Bleeding Edge, with Ninja Theory, they're able to do another project, things like that. All we hope is that these games are quality and that they come out and they're successful on a platform.
And at the end of the day, it's not like they took the studio as is. They updated a lot of stuff. They brought they hired talent outside of it.
And they're in communication with each other, which is a first, which is what Sony does, which is what I like. They pool resources.
We could have a case of Death Stranding happening where there's no one over there to question Kojima. That don't make sense.
Oh my
but maybe that's gonna happen in these studios since they hired new people. When something says something, that makes no sense. You know what? You're right. Kojima don't got that.
I think Kojima has some cachet, though. Even if he was, we'll see. But anyway, that's what I got, man. Last time, this will just be me and Saul. We'll fly through it because the king is not here, who was with us. Shout out to Sonaldo and shout out to Hyde, who was at play. Oh, one last super chat. JD Gamer on fire right now.
You know
Saul,
what?
you want to get this?
LordCognito, go ahead and mod that dude. Like, that dude is so supportive. Just mod him.
Salute to JD. I'm pissed that we're just talking about Shenmue 3. If that game wasn't crowdfunded, maybe the characters would have some more facial hair. Oh, man, don't start, JD. I was going to mod you, but then I was like, out here encouraging Anchorman slander. Don't you dare slander the great Yu Suzuki. Anyway, moving along. Last one. This would be for me and Saw because the King's not here, unfortunately. Shout out to Hyde, shout out to Sonaldo, all those that came through. Play NYC, Saw. We came through. The Lords were there last week. New York's gaming convention had a lot of things on display. Just real quick, some personal highlights, just how you feel, about the convention in New York gaming in general.
I just like the fact that, after about an hour or two, it got full. It's not a big convention space, but it shows that people are really interested in East Coast developers and finding a place for East Coast developers to congregate on the East Coast. And they're interested in growing that, and specifically for playcrafting, the ones that put on Play NYC. It's a lot more than just a convention, right? Playcrafting is kind of like an entire network of game designers and creators coming together, sort of support each other to sort of educate themselves on development techniques, in addition to being really nurturing of new people trying to come into the industry and how to do that. So it's beyond just a convention. Is a big community trying to grow a big community on the East Coast. So I thought it was great. A lot of the titles that we saw, I really loved. I was particularly interested in Fiction Spear. That was
Fiction Spear was fire, bro.
Yeah, beautiful 2D side-scrolling action game.
Team Engine Heart. I can't even pronounce it. Them brothers they on it though.
Yeah, and I mean the combat in the game. It looks like a beautiful SNES side-scrolling game. Kung Fu Kickball. Shout out to Jonah. Absolutely fun.
Whale Food Games.
And Jonah, aka Whale Food Games.
Exactly, aka the soloist.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, hold on. Gamer by choice. Wow, thank you, brother. With the $20 super chat, thank you, brother. I enjoy playing games. I don't care if they're exclusive or not. I just want great games for all platforms. Great show as always, panel. Thank you, brother. Means a lot, man. Spreading the word, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Sure, for sure. So obviously the interview with the CEO Dan Butchko, and he's been the fact that he's been with this from the very beginning, and every single year he's trying to grow it into something bigger. I think it's amazing, and I think everybody who's on the East Coast, whether it be YouTubers, whether it be people in the development community, need to start supporting this event and make it grow because it's on us.
No, absolutely. I want to jump in on that point too, man. So first of all, shout out to Novad Salir in the chat right now because he always supports us, man. I see him when we put those videos up. Even if it's the most obscure game, he will give his commentary. So shout out, salute to you on that. But yeah, I mean, Sav, you're right, man, because first of all, salute the Lord Dan Butchko, man. I just pioneering this vision for New York. You know what I'm saying? It's tremendous, man. And please, y'all, if you haven't seen it, the article's up on lordsofgaming.net. The interview that we had with Dan gave us tremendous time. The CEO of it was just amazing. Hold on, Dizzy slander. He don't like when I say New York is the Mecca again.
Well, he is in Texas. I will give him that. Listen, they have like 2 events there, QuakeCon and PAX. Yeah.
I respect that, but we coming. All right? All right, you Texas boys, you're getting out of control right now. It's like a Cowboys Giants.
That's why they can't do it here. Bougie.
Salute to Dizzy for being petty by region. But yeah, man, listen, it was tremendous. So please, y'all, like I said, support these developers, support these. It's like, to me, you know what it was, Solve? It was like seeing homegrown talent. Like, it feels like we was in the baseball, we was on the AAA, we was on the farm. Who's coming up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just to see, like I said, shout out to Fiction Sphere. Shout out to Avaria's Versus, the Final Fantasy PvP game. You know what I'm saying? That, of
course, my boys from Decoy, Swim
Sanity's out here, y'all.
Boston's finest doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Twin stick shooter. The game is self-published. It's going to be out on multi-platforms. You know what I'm saying? Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. It's a ton of fun. Tremendous. Again, please check out. We got a lot of content up for Play NYC up on the channel.
And of course, big shout out to the back scratch game.
Oh, no, we ain't shout out to King for doing you dirty. I got to put King. King did you dirty, sir, because he had you with that back scratch.
Oh, yeah, he's like, you got to play this time. I'm like, I don't care. I'll play. I don't care.
Yo, I miss King, man. Salute to the King, man. That footage he took, I almost peed on myself. He's a fool. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, it was just good to see New York gaming alive and well, and you know they're slowly on the come up. We ain't Texas yet, so I see you fastback. I see you dizzy. We know what it is, but New York is coming. All right, New York's coming. Just be careful. We on the come up. You know what I'm saying? But it was good to see. But that's definitely all I got. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this. Yo, grounded game. Yo, Fonz, come on, Fonz. He said that back scratching game was terrible. Listen, Fonz, they on the come up. He said, I don't want to see that mess again. So.
I was just waiting on because you know they scroll through different backs, right? So I was just waiting for the fat dude with the hairy back to come up.
Yo, and the fact that you could have your friend capture his back and put it in your
yeah, that's just nasty.
Yo, that game is crazy. Yo, shout out to Bad Big Gamers. Don't sleep on your Jersey was in the building. Jersey was in the building too, man.
Jersey, upstate New York,
New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston. They all was there repping, man. I'm telling you, man. Yo, Fonz going in. He said, "Soft look happy to scratch."
We really got to wrap this up.
We got to wrap up. We got to get out of here. But anyway, new ILP poll. Let's get out of here, man. All right, so it's up this week. When you hear of studio leads, I was gonna love this one, or prominent developer departures prior to the launch of a title, how concerned are you about the quality of the title moving forward? A, very concerned based on the level of the departure. B, minimal concern. Devs leave jobs every day, B. Or C, I don't care unless it's my favorite game. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the ILP poll when it goes up on Twitter tomorrow. Lord Anchorman in the building, just like old times.
Anchorman's been here?
Holding us down, jumping out of retirement to throw the cape on to hold us down in the King's Abs. Where can people find you? What do you have going on, sir?
You guys can find me on Anchorman V2 on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, YouTube, whatever. You guys can. We're starting a Multiverse show next month. I'm actually been working on the new layout because we are moving to Discord for the show.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing that, but we're still on YouTube. We're still be putting it up on there. But I just we're moving to a different format since Google Hangouts is going extinct later this year. So
hold on. Shout out to your biggest fans and shout out to Irrelevant Native with the vintage anchor fraud and language comments for you. That was the stay when you would always be on the show. Salute the Native for being petty.
But you know, I'm like old Captain America now. I moved on from that.
No doubt, but it's good to see you, man. What happened, Saul?
You passed the shield on.
Yeah, man, you passed the shield on, but you know you still come outside.
I don't think I will.
No doubt. Salute the Anchor, man, coming through. Always welcome in the realm. Answered the call for us. My gaming brother. Good to see you, brother. Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
Of course, we got Lord Addict about to get out of here real quick. Hold it down. Getting the table hype. Getting the panel hype in King's absence. Where can people find you? What you got going on, Lord of Reviews?
You can definitely catch my man, I forgot what the name of that game was.
Ancestors Legacy.
Yeah, Ancestors Legacy. I had that review. You could check the written form in case you want to
check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, you could on Lords of Gaming.net. You could definitely go there.
He's about to get shut down right now.
Huh?
I'm just teasing you. Continue.
But you could definitely catch it over there in case you're one of those I only read weirdos. But definitely go over there. I want to thank every one of the super chats. We definitely really appreciate that. You guys gave us some mad love this week.
Mad love.
Those go towards stuff like E3 trips. You guys are the reason we're able to go to those, and I definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have said it much better. I mean, again, I mean, thanks to you guys, you know what I'm saying, the super chat, the support, and native is so petty right now. I can't read it right now. But thanks to support, like you guys really help us get out to these shows. It really means a ton when you, especially the articles, the retweeting, that all that stuff helps us, man. Big time. Lord Sovereign, fighting the good fight for fear mongering and concern. I'm just joking. Where can the people find you? What you got going on, man?
You guys can catch me on Twitter, Lord Sov IOP, and BX Sovereign on PS and Xbox Live. Yeah. Now that I'm done with Bloodstain, I think maybe I'll go back to Youngblood, but I wasn't too impressed with Youngblood. But excited, man. Next couple of weeks are gonna be crazy. Like end of August into September, man. We got Control coming out. We got Astral Chain. We got Blair Witch. We got Man of Medan, and that's just
man. Blair Witch is already coming out, man.
Yeah,
feels like it was just last.
Feels like we just saw it, right? Yeah, that was.
And then Man of Medan, and that's just like August, and then we go right into Gears in September. So it's like there's plenty of stuff coming.
And Outer Worlds.
Oh wow, that's right.
God.
Oh, yeah, it's
September's
insane.
gonna be nuts too, man.
Yeah, so it has begun. It has begun. So I'm happy. I'm glad.
No doubt. You already know Saab in the building, man. And salute to Sonaldo and salute to Get Grounded Gamer. Thank you so much, brother. We got 2 giveaways, y'all. Just before we go, 2 giveaways. Y'all see, we got Gears 5. Y'all can win your copy before release, and of course Borderlands 3, man. Please check that out. It is going to be super.
Wait, is it an actual copy of the game, or is it going to be like, oh yeah, here's the Game Pass?
Nah, we ain't gonna do you dirty. You gonna get the copy. You gonna get the copy, brother. You gonna get, and you can get it on PC if you choose. So check that out, man. Please, again, support that. We got that going on. Trying to give back to the community again. And again, support my brother King, man. He was not feeling well. He's got KO West up earlier this week. A fantastic Ghost Rider up right now on lordsofgaming.net. Please check out Johnny Blaze in all its glory. And of course, please show my man. I know you guys, not everybody like Destiny, but please show my boy Ebontis and myself love. The Last Word Pod at Last Word Pod. We got our Twitter account up. We got the audio up.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, we just had Paul Tassi on from Forbes. It was absolutely tremendous, man. Oh man, you gotta go check that out. I'm gonna give you guys this information in a second because the Last Word Pod is moving out here in these streets, and you gotta support. And even if you don't like Destiny, you gotta support. So that's what we got there. Anything else going on in the future there, Addict, that we need to talk about? We're not gonna talk about just yet.
We ain't gonna talk about it just
We ain't
yet.
gonna talk about that just yet. All right. So we just put this in the chat real quick.
I already did.
Okay, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, even if just go in there and hit it a like, man.
Yeah.
Just give it a like button.
Hit the chat. I put the Twitter account. Please, if you guys follow Iron Lord Podcast, follow at Last Word Pod. Please follow that. We need to follow us up. Get the word out there. If you like looter shooters, we're talking. We're gonna have some more bigger guests. It's gonna be lit, man. But that's all I got. Everybody's got to go. If anybody's got anything else, is the Lord's good. If not, everybody enjoy your Sunday. We are out. Peace.